Yo, are we out here? Is this live? We're in the live universe.
Ooh, it's popped up.
Give me a little check. If we're good to go, we're good to go.
Oh, we're good. I'm seeing it at least.
Okay, cool. Right. Howdy doody, everybody. I can't see chat, not right now, but anyway, welcome to the Naruto tier list with the last arc, the coolest pirate crew in all the verses. So far with us, we've got me, which is Den. Our 3-day. I'll let you say hello.
What's up? How's
Caught
it
her unaware.
going? What?
And then Fritz. We got Fritz as well.
Hey, how we doing today?
Kubo, do you want to do your thing?
What's up? What's up, guys? Hope you're excited for this amazing stream we have planned for you guys.
Kub doesn't know much about Naruto, so it's going to be an interesting. We're just waiting for a couple more people. If there's any issues with audio, let us know. Any issues with visuals, let us know. We'll have some music pop in. Yeah, so when they're here, we'll just shoot right now, and then when they get here, we'll jump in straight with the tier lists, which is already interesting because somebody in our server asked me about 20 minutes ago what my favorite Shippuden arc was, and it did actually get me thinking already. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be an exciting one because that's a hard question. But yeah, so everyone, like all of you in the stream at the moment, have all seen Larry, all of it except for Fritz. You haven't seen it, all of you.
I've watched a lot. I haven't done any like major readings. The plot points, the characters, they're kind of like more where I'm at. But
Okie dokie, yeah, cool.
I definitely enjoy.
Yeah, it was a bagger back in the day. It's one of the big three. You said something interesting as well, but we were all talking at the same time, so I didn't have a chance to reply. But about 10 minutes ago, whatever, you mentioned that last week we did Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Z is a little bit different. The flow of it is a lot lighter, whereas like you mentioned that the arcs in Naruto are more tied together with like narrative and character. So it's going to be like a lot trickier to remember than Dragon Ball, I think, because Dragon Ball is just more set, kind of like One Piece, like different islands and stuff. But anyway, let's start with your experience with Dragon Ball. Naruto. Kub, let's start with you. When did you first start reading? How did you find it?
So, it was the summer of 2002. I had just arrived from the States back to Europe. And I was reading something similar to comic books, and then a friend just basically, I first came into One Piece, did not get into it at first because it was manga volumes, got into the anime a few months before, afterwards, but actually it was Naruto. Well, it was the first arc, honestly. And I just love the whole concept, stuff like that. And well, I just in Europe, you didn't have that type of medium, and coloring illustration. So that's how I got into Naruto.
It was extremely colorful. Like comparatively, it was like super high contrast, super high quality, and they had all the little sounds and stuff in the first season, which like they had in the others, but like just died down throughout the series. But what about you?
Even the manga. Just think about the manga compared to most. You live in Europe, most small comics. They're very short, and the manga was so deep, the one volume. So it was actually, that's also that changed a lot of the game for us. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, inspired a lot of stuff as well. Made Shonen Jump bigger in the West. But yeah, 3-day. What about you? How did you discover Naruto?
I have never read the manga, but I don't even remember how long ago it was when I watched it. It was right around the time I watched Bleach and Sword Art Online and Death Note.
It's a long time ago now.
Yeah, it's been a while. I can't remember exactly when, but it definitely made me want to watch more anime.
Yeah, that's a fair shout. Fritzy Doodle, talk to us.
I'll tell you what. The major introductions that you got over here, if it was anime, you got it through Cartoon Network, Toonami, and it was like such a hit. Everybody was so in love with it. It has been memed into infinity with Naruto running. Like, there's such a large audience when it comes to Naruto.
Like, to segue off what you just said and what Three said, like, it's really interesting when you think about how in our community, I don't mean our specific, the last art community, I mean like the whole anime sort of One Piece community, you get a lot of purists with anime and manga differences and stuff like that. Some people don't like it. But interestingly, like the dub and sub, for example, but interestingly, pretty much, I imagine the high majority of all of us came across Naruto before many other things, and it was in English. I watched it, I was reading it before, but when I saw it on TV, it was in English. You know what I mean? There was never a chance to watch it in Japanese. Not until I was older. So, yeah. So basically, are we still waiting? Have we had any word yet?
Well, we have our special guest who was able to hop on while you were talking.
Ah, okay. So it's definitely Keb. No, I'm just joking, Ragnar. We know it's you. Right. So Ragnar, introduce us to your experience with Naruto. I'm sure you've got some deep narrative, some backstory.
I started Naruto as a kid. The first episode I ever saw was surprisingly the Rock Lee versus Kimimaro fight. So I didn't even know how it really started. I started off basically at peak, and then I watched it all over from the beginning, going backwards basically, to get back to that point to see how it got there. So personally, I had the best intro to Naruto, and my favorite character from the beginning was always Rock Lee. So I was just waiting for him to be reintroduced. I didn't know that Shippuden came out until like years later, because once Naruto finished, I kind of was like finished with Naruto until Shippuden started. And I think Shippuden didn't start until like a year or two later, or was it immediately? I don't remember exactly.
No. If I'm not mistaken, it's been a while, but there was a break, like quite a big break, and everyone was absolutely hyped for it to come back.
Yeah. So there was a break in between, and I didn't find out about the return of it until like way later on, which is like high school. Yeah.
So
I didn't have the best experience with Shippuden, but I love Naruto, I swear.
Well, I'm sure we'll get into some of that. Yeah, basically, I'm interested. Obviously, you've seen the majority of it now, and blah blah blah. You know your stuff. So we don't have that sort of experience coming into it so late and seeing that fight, particularly at such a kind of random fight to just be as an introduction. It's a good fight there. So how was that different, do you think? Can you remember it? Can you remember being like, what is going on? Or was it, or were you just like, oh, start from the beginning? Or
well, for me, because I grew up in Jamaica, I didn't have cable when I was growing up. So I couldn't go on a channel and then decide to say, oh, this going on at this time of the day on this channel. I just bought a freaking CD with a mashup of like anime fights. So there was like the Rock Lee versus Kimimaro. There was Vegeta versus Goku at that point. There was Yusuke versus Toguro, and there was another one. I don't remember which. There was another one from Hunter x Hunter, and that was like my introduction into like some of the peak fights before I even got into some of the series. And then after I saw the Rock Lee vs. Kimimaro, I went and bought like every pirated version of Naruto in any disconnected way form possible, until I found this one guy that was willing to put it in order for me from episode 1 to like episode 90 or something like that, and I appreciate it.
So, as chat may have already realised, Ragnar's here to give us the underworld perspective of how to watch Naruto throughout the years, apparently. I was going to ask, you mentioned it was pirated, but before that I was going to ask, was the first, the disc with the multiple fights, was that just some sort of pirated
Yes, that was also pirated. I just bought a disc to watch some cartoons, because I didn't know it was anime back then. I want some cool cartoons. He's like, you should watch this. It has all the best fights in it. I'm like, best fights? Okay, cool, sure. I didn't even know cartoons had fights. Avatar. So I grew up watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. So but for the most fights I saw in cartoons / anime, keep in mind I didn't know it was anime. I'm speaking in reference to when I was a kid. I don't think cartoons and anime are the same. I'm just speaking into reference back then. the most fights I saw in cartoons back then was Pokemon. I was like, that's all the fights I saw for all of them.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and the most that will happen in that is the eyes sort of get a bit crossed. So yeah, I know what you mean. I remember seeing something after Naruto because I was reading manga at the time before I was watching anime, and then I saw Naruto, saw something afterwards, and I was like, oh my god, my mum knew I was watching this. Like there was so much blood in it, and it was amazing. Anyway, just a real quick polite reminder that if you don't have Do Not Disturb on, you're going to be ejected into space because I can hear someone's monitor going off. But yeah. So are we all in agreement that Shippuden isn't as good as like base Naruto, original Naruto?
Yep. At least for me, yes.
that should be the general consensus for everybody, shouldn't it?
I'm just weeding out any infiltrators in the VC.
Yeah, the imposters and others.
Exactly.
Weed them out.
And brother Fritz.
And also,
Three, what's up?
I say hello, everyone. You're welcome to say hello. But yeah, I was gonna say like when has anybody been watching it recently, or like what's our most recent sort of experience? And I'm not talking just like a 5-minute YouTube video about Rock Lee dropping his weights from his legs, you know. I mean when was the last time you gave it a read or spent like 20-30 minutes watching some? Coob, let's start with you, bud.
Me, pretty recently, I'm actually doing a tiny rewatch, YouTube reactions, and I'm just watching through their eyes. It's pretty fun. Helps me see for my One Piece theory to see another point of view, how to think differently. But a few months ago, because with someone from our community, Angel's Room, is a huge Naruto fan. I'm a huge Naruto fan, but I'm so very vocal on the parts I don't like about Shippuden. And so he was telling me I was wrong on some of the stuff. So I did recently, I think I finished 3 months ago, I did a rewatch of Naruto Shippuden. And well, I still love Naruto, but I'm still very strong on my criticism on the stuff I don't like. So yeah.
That's cool. Let's say, is it fair to say you're probably watching it right now as we're VCing? Or have you turned it off?
No, as we're VCing, hell no. I'm concentrating on you guys. I won't miss any of you with anything, any Danzo praises. Any Danzo praises, I will catch you.
Yeah, I mean, if there is mods in the chat, if you don't know who Angel is, Angel's a young gent who's famous for having appalling taste. So if any mods see him in the chat, make sure you squat his comments. But what about you, 3Day? Have you seen it recently at all, or?
No, I think it's been at least a year, or maybe a year and a half since I've watched it.
That's pretty fresh, to be fair, considering how old
Really?
it is and stuff. I would say so, yeah. I mean, it's pretty old now, and not many people rewatch Shippuden. I don't think. I might be wrong. Ragnar, any recent activity with Naruto?
Well, I don't know about anybody else, but I find it hard to watch certain anime over again. But what I do enjoy is watching those reaction channels that watch Naruto or One Piece for the first time. So I've been reliving my Naruto experience by watching someone say, "Oh, seeing the first episode of Naruto, very first time," and watching that, and they're like, "I don't get why people like this." I'm like, "You'll see." So I typically watch those channels, right? And
yeah,
not just that, but I talk to people about Naruto all the time. I'm a avid Sakura stan. I think she's misunderstood, so that's where I'm at. So yeah, so I talk to people about Naruto all the time, to be honest.
Honestly, I would advise
that. Leaves it.
Because I just think as Ragnar, I would advise anyone, you really like an anime and you want to rewatch it, but you don't, it's kind of dull sometimes. Watch it through a YouTube reaction. It's very interesting, especially the best example is that there was this guy who started One Piece, hated Nami. The dude was almost in tears at Arlong Park when she asked Luffy for help. It's so wholesome to see, their mindset and the changes and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Man, One Piece is an interesting one as well because it's just hits deep, on a magical level. So whereas Naruto, the reactions are more like, "Oh, that's cool," and blah blah blah.
That's cool, yeah.
Harder.
Oh, I hate that.
Harder to hydrate.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sakura thing we'll have to touch on later, just to make sure that you're healthy. And Fritz, what about you? Have you seen anything recently?
Um, I've got the kids, you know, they really like One Piece, they really like Naruto. They have seen a lot of Attack on Titan. I mean, these are kids and they've watched Attack on Titan. They've watched all of Seven Deadly Sins. My kids got a good future ahead of them.
Nice, nice.
So, but like, as far as they've
It's
gotten,
2023.
yeah, as far as they've gotten though, I can't say how far they are, but when they're watching, I'm definitely watching it with them. I remember them. I think they're up to where they're fighting the Akatsuki in the cave, and the Akatsuki are trying to run.
Okay, yeah. Like personally, I actually really like all that sort of part of Shippuden, and like also I think like my kid, he's a little too young, but I've tried, and I end up just finding myself even with Shippuden just watching it, like, and I'm like, or watching bits of it, catching bits of it, and be like, oh, that's pretty cool. So there is some love to be had, in my opinion.
And Sakura's spot during
right.
that part was amazing.
During which part? Sorry, 3.
In the cave with the
Yeah.
two Akatsuki.
Yeah. Sakura's all right at times. Okay, so basically, is the chat? Have we got a couple people in the chat? Are we like, what's the situation with Adam? Because we can get going with the first couple arcs if you want, or else
He's having trouble
you
with
Americans.
his computer. He just can't, apparently.
Okay, so do you want us to start now?
Oh, that's fine by me. I'll switch over the scene here,
Yeah. Okay.
and then I'm gonna put up
With a-
I'm gonna corner piece his artwork there because I like the artwork.
That's
a
it.
lot.
Light a couple candles, play some romantic music.
Oh yeah.
We'll get down to it. Okay. Right. There is one little issue. Fritz, do you think, or does Koob maybe, do you think you could get the arcs up and introduce the arcs for us? And I'll take over after each one.
You know what? Yeah, you know what I'll do is I know what to do exactly. Just give me 2 seconds.
Thank you very much. I feel like we're not going to get the truth about the arcs, though, with Koob saying it. It'll be like, in this arc, Danzo got destroyed. In this arc, he came back to life and got destroyed. And in this arc, Danzo got destroyed.
All right,
I
so
can
here's
still hear one of
there's
you.
a question in the chat for you guys by Eric. You guys
Yeah.
just gonna end up going with the end of Naruto, or you're gonna start with Boruto like with the movies?
Oh no. I don't know.
So we're going to the end of Shippuden. We're not doing any Boruto. I'm thinking. Am I right about that?
I don't think we got the time to do Boruto unless somebody, Elon Musk donates 50 grand or something like that. Because I mean, I'm happy to try do Naruto and then Shippuden, but last time, how long was Dragon Ball Z? That was Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z was about 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll do this in 3 or less. So the answer
Should be
is,
good for at
I don't
least the
know.
first
We'll
one.
see. Okay,
So are you all ready?
Yeah.
So the first arc
I'm
is
pretty ready.
the introduction to Naruto Uzumaki. The story starts, well, obviously with a mini flashback of what happened to the Leaf Village, with the Nine-Tailed Fox, where the mysterious fourth Hokage sacrificed himself for the village. And thus, the story enters of Naruto, as you know, troublemaker, delinquent, putting the graffiti because he's going to be the next Hokage. We find out, we meet Sakura and Sasuke during his adventure, as well as, his mentor, Kakashi. And it goes up to the Land of Waves with the Zabuza arc, which ends with, the last episode, I think is episode 19, when the Zabuza is defeated and the whole thing is uncovered. That is the first arc of Naruto.
Whew. I mean, there's obviously a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
Fritz, why don't we start with you? Let us know what your thoughts are on the essentially the beginning of the series, and then the Zabuza thing. We haven't got time to split them all up into mini parts, but obviously they're both quite separate, both quite different. So feel free to spit on both topics.
Well, as far as how a lot of these shows start, I think Naruto really throws the genuine basis of these characters and how they feel and who they are. Like Naruto, he really is the misunderstood, the separated, the the pretty much begging for attention kind of deal, but also he's above that. Like his entire idea is like this. It was like that for so long for him that he no longer cares, and deep down he actually does care, and it's one of the biggest defining things about the entire series. Really, it's like how people are more connected now later on, but
Mm.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely stood out more than like, I don't know, when I read the beginning, it wasn't as tropey as I know it is tropey, but it didn't feel as tropey. Like it just hit. That first chapter just hits.
As far as
But
far as
Ragnar.
oh
Go on,
sorry,
sir.
as far as comparisons
No,
go,
go
though,
on, Fritz.
they put more feeling into these characters and pretty much their character design than you would get in a lot of other animes. Like they super focus like their identities more in Naruto. That's how I feel.
Yeah, you can. It's definitely an interesting one to contrast with like something like One Piece because they're like all very distinct as well, but in totally different ways. Like Naruto characters stand out as Naruto characters. One Piece, you just know it's One Piece as soon as you see somebody cross-dressing as a swan. But Ragnar, what about the Zabuza sort of situation? The fight and Kakashi.
You're asking me about the Zabuza fight?
I was going to say with Fritz before we move on to Ragnar. Do you want to drop a comment on the Zabuza sort of part of the arc?
I can't really say much. I know that the fight itself is kind of like ridiculous. It's eye-opening how far the kids have to go before they can even make it out of the water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really cool like element. They introduced the walking on water and then they brought it in. Yeah, so Ragnar, you fire away, brother.
For one, I think Zabuza fight is the most accurately loved fight in the series. As in, it's not overrated, it's not underrated. It's more like I think everyone has about a general kind of thing for when it comes to that fight. And if you think about it, that fight introduces almost everything what it takes to be a ninja in the entire series. Like you're thinking about them using hand signs. Like that was the most over-exaggerated hand sign battle I've ever seen in my life up to this day in Naruto, right? And then you're seeing people use like sealing jutsu, right? We're seeing them use shurikens and kunai. You're seeing them using battle tactics. You're seeing keke genkais, even though we didn't know what it was back then. We saw it, right? You know what I'm saying? We see like the difference in how people go about fights, where Kakashi has hidden abilities, and you're like, yo, is this what all the Ninja World fights are like? No, this one is just like. This one was literally to show us as viewers, because you think about it, this is one of the earliest fights in the entire show, right? So that fight was literally to show us this is what it's like out there. This is what could happen anytime, any day. This is the ninja world, right? You have the seven deadly swordsmen of the mist. We didn't even know about the rest of them until Shippuden. We just saw one. Like, you see what I'm saying? They introduced that stuff to the world. And then you think about they introduced Jonin ranks, which is Kakashi. You're like, oh my god, this is so good. It's a really good introduction.
It's organized in like elements in it. You've got taijutsu, then you've got ninjutsu, then you've got your genjutsu at the end. So it is like a little train arc for the rest of Naruto. And I remember seeing that and being like, whoa, this is like, I thought this was cool, but this is like definitely cool now. And yeah, look back at the end. What about you, 3Day? How did you find the beginning?
I thought it was amazing. It got me hooked right away, especially Naruto's character. It just seemed so deep in despair, but with hope too. If it wasn't for his sensei, I think he would have went down a totally different path. Having that one person believe in him, and it was just terrible how he didn't know why adults looked at him like they did, why they hated him in some sort of way. Character growth from there to the end of the Zabuza fight was just amazing, especially between him and Sasuke.
Yeah, absolutely pure spice, definitely, in my opinion. And just out of interest, what did you think of sort of like the design? Like when you first did you start from the beginning when you did watch anime? You started from episode 1.
I did. I sure did. Yeah.
And did anything stand out about it to you that was different from the sort of other things you'd seen in that time, or before then?
Just felt more real, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, more gritty.
It
Okay,
hit,
what
hit
about
harder, I guess you'd say.
yeah, definitely more weighty and stuff. Okay, what about you? I think Koob, you're up next.
Yep. So I'm just gonna add on what everybody said. I think for me, in terms of not the manga but the anime, I think it's one of the best introduction in any anime, in which I like the training of Kakashi, in which I do feel like if anybody remembers the storyline of Kakashi, that is some hell of a foreshadowing. All the life lessons, literally all the first lessons he was teaching them at that trial, survival trial, was basically the hard stuff he had to learn when he was a kid, So I really like that later on. So I think it's one of the best moments. And then I'm gonna say this: the Zabuza fight. I think it was one of the best fights because it showcased at the start how powerful Kakashi was, and also it kind of reminded you, regardless whenever you are, if you fought of Zabuza, you knew that he was really, really strong because you said Kakashi was pushed to his limits. We won't say Akatsuki level, but we realized. So yeah, I do feel like it's and I liked the introduction of Kekkei Genkais, like Ragnar said, with the ice release and the Sharingan. Yet it was not explained, but what I liked about it is, with the Sharingan, we got immediately the praises of Sasuke. But I love that Haku's whole storyline, how she met Zabuza, is because of her ice release. Like it's a complete different aspect of it. So I did like the fact that there are some powers that people are so scared of, that they will shun their own members of their family. Literally the father killed the mother and tried to kill the Haku, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I think it's.
I remember seeing the panel and just like seeing all the water wash through, and then just seeing this panel of Haku in the tree, and being like, "Holy, like this ain't done!" And that probably one of the moments where I was sold on the first on the main series, because yeah, it was just crazy, just like seeing Haku at the end and just knowing that we were going to get that in the future, which we do obviously.
I'm gonna say this: the anime did not do justice to Sasuke at the beginning, because I'm sorry, in the manga when he told his story, like introduction, he has to kill a certain someone. At the beginning, his whole thing in the anime, it didn't hit as hard as the manga. So it felt like I used to make fun of him every time. So okay, calm down, calm down, the Joker. Like he always say, like, I am an Avenger, I can't have friends. Like at the beginning, I always was kind of laughing every time. It didn't hit, but then it got better. But I always found it like it was the one, if I can say, flaw.
Hello, you.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, it's interesting for sure. Like, sorry, that was the dog. Basically, yeah. I was gonna say there was. Is there anyone else that have I done everyone on the first arc? I just need to go now, right?
Yes.
Okay. One of the things I was going to say is it's really interesting because it's all like done straight from the off, and so it's like different from some of the stuff that we like sort of read and stuff. Like it's just all straight from the first scene. Bam. Like everything about the dude. It's about like the story's about this dude. You feel this sort of sadness and stuff. And sorry, that's the dog getting excited. One sec. So yeah, the other thing I was going to say is basically the editor's touches, like the headbands and stuff, like they just stuck out straight away. So yeah, so it would just, for me, it just like glued instantly. And as I say, seeing Haku at the end, I was like convinced. But anyway, Koob, pop off with the next one. Sorry.
Oh, we wanna.
So
Where we wanna throw that?
Yeah, we still got to go. I'll let you guys fire off, and then I'll do mine at the end.
I'm thinking right now to be accurate. Wait, okay, I'm not muted. Okay. I'm looking right now at the tier list to know what's the best position for it. For me, it's honestly it's a top. It's kind of blurry on my screen. I assume the top list is S, right?
Yes.
For me, it's an S, because it got us into the story immediately. Got me hooked, at least for me. And I think that's what a start of any story should be about. You know, you need to be like, not obsessed, but intrigued to the point that, you know, regardless of anything that happens, you have to follow through. I don't know for the rest. So that's my vote.
I think personally, the beginning mixed with the Zabus, it was teetering A and S, but them two together has to be. Also, like, even if you do it relative, like Ragnar mentioned something about the fights, like that isn't what all the fights are like. But yeah, I think that is for me an S tier. So Fritz, what about you? What letter have you got for us?
Kind of considering as an introductory point, but also how much it hooked so many people, I would have said a very high A, but into S. But I'm, you know, out of that though, I think I'm gonna leave it A and then let the rest of the votes decide.
Carry it. Okay, I'm happy with that. 3-day.
I want to say thanks to Mega T from the chat. He donated $5 super chat. It says, here to support the community. Stay strong, boys. And
Oh, thank you very, very much.
Thanks,
If you've got
Ragnar,
a
for
question
your
for us,
5
guys,
gifted.
just let us know. Oh, Ragnar as well. Yeah, I don't know who that is, but yeah, thank you for that very much, Ragnar. And as I say, if anyone's got anything in chat to ask, obviously feel free to fire the questions. It will give me a break from talking so much. So yeah, feel free. So we've got Fritz with the A, we've got me with the S, Coob with the S, 3-day.
I'll say S, at least high A, OS.
Nice. And last but not least, we're finished. Now, go on, Ragnar, I'll give you a letter.
All right. So, this is from Enter Naruto up until the Land of Waves, right? Before it starts the Land of Waves, right?
Yeah.
Just before it starts, yeah.
All right. I don't know if anybody realizes this, but this is where we first got the exam Kakashi does, where he teaches them his Nindo way.
Yeah.
So this is for me as an S, right? Because it's literally like it's an S. It's the introduction to the idea of Nindo ways. We got the best teacher-student up to this day. People, anytime they talk about like a teacher-student like exam to become a part of the team kind of thing, they always go back to Kakashi, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. That whole thing. It's so hilarious. Like, rewatch that fight. It is so hilarious. It's so good. So yeah, it's an S for me.
I like. On that note as well. I was going to say something else that's quite funny is the is all the ramen scenes and all the music, like I was talking about before. And give me one sec, right? Yeah, there we go. Here she comes. Like, there's just a lot more lightness to it and comedy and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think So, Fritz, stick it on an S.
Oh, it's.
You can put your complaints into the complaint box. And
no complaints,
moving on. Good, I like it. It's a good start. We've managed to do one arc without killing each other, so this is a new record. Like,
this is.
But yeah, go on, Kubrick.
Oh, can I also put something else in there for it, where it has one of the best openings in all Naruto history? The opening song. Come on.
It's probably my favorite. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Ragnar, if you're gonna start it, you may as well do the whole thing. You know. Okay. Cool. Okay, go on then. Go on, Coob. You can release us from this arc.
Okay, the next arc is a Chunin exam. So, Team 7 returns to the village. Kakashi tells them they could go rest. On the way back, they meet 3 mysterious ninjas who are not from there, as known as, well, I'm gonna say this, one of my favorite characters among them. That's where we meet Gaara and his Kankuro and Tomari. And then this is the start of the Chunin exam. And so basically, if I'm not mistaken, this whole arc goes from the beginning of the Chunin exam till the death of the third Hokage. So basically, the whole attack on Hidden Leaf Village with Orochimaru and the village hidden in the sand. So yeah,
Jeez,
So-
that's a lot.
yeah.
That's a
Not
lot.
Land of the
Squeezing.
Waves. Land of the Waves wasn't next.
Because I did both Naruto and the Land of the Wave as one. Wait, yeah. Yeah, that's why I counted them as one. Land of the Wave is the whole Zabuza arc.
Oh, the whole
So-
thing.
So would they go
Yeah.
together then on S?
Yeah, I think so. Because I think both of them, without both of them, the story isn't.
Ooh.
Unless someone
Tricky,
has
that
somebody can have a counter.
My counter would be that, like, maybe if you take away the beginning and you take away that awesome like intro with like where the dude's getting like all the shuriken in his back and stuff like that, if you take all that away, then maybe it'd be an A. So that would be my vote for the second one. If we're speed voting the second one, I'm going to say A. Coob, what's yours?
I'll go with an A. I have no problem going with an A. It's the
3 day.
minimum.
I totally agree. At least an A.
Okay.
I second
Ragnar
that.
Fritz, do you want to drop some? Yeah. Okay.
Are you talking about the
finish
Land
this
of
off,
Waves or Chunin exams?
Yeah. No, not the tuning exams. The Land of Waves.
The Land of Waves. Oh,
Mhm.
well, my reasoning I gave earlier, like that was the introduction to how ninja fights are. It has like
Mhm.
we don't see a fight like that one specifically until like so far later on in the story. It's like it had everything. From hand seals to sealing jutsu, Keke Genkai to shuriken tactics to shadow clone tactics, transformation jutsus, substitution jutsus, genjutsus. Bro, what?
Sexy no jutsus. Yeah, that's true. Every weapon on history, massive swords. I bet you J.K. Rowling, the warp prison, was like, yeah, that looks so cool. I'm going to put that in Harry Potter. You know when Dumbleboobs does it to Voldemort. Anyway, right. So it's an A for the Land of Waves, and now we'll do the next one, Coob. So
Sorry
yeah,
about that.
I'll let you just sort of finish off what you were saying, Coob, about that arc, and you can give it a rating.
Yeah, so I will just explain the arc and I'll say what this is one of my favorite arc. First of all, Gar is one of my favorite characters in the entire There's other characters on that list, but Gar is like the character I really liked. I think his storyline is so compelling, especially when you realize the dude is so powerful, but then more and more you realize everyone around him is just stressed for just even looking him the wrong way, you know. And I really like this whole thing of it was very subtle if you think about it. Like everything, like there's so much stuff happening in this arc, but because I know people talk about other stuff, so I'll mostly talk about Gaara. The one moment I found that was so crazy was when he came out of the forest and there were like Shunin and Jonin there, and the teacher, the one who did the whole trial, who didn't care, she was shocked and she said, "Look at him," and then the specific and saying that he did not even have one dust on his body, which we all know what the plot twist. Why is that, you know? But I love that someone who was like making fun of all the kids when he came out. And by that time, we had the whole Orochimaru joining up in the forests, you know. So we also know their closeness in a way, and the fact that she was surprised by Gaara. That's what at one moment.
You're talking about Ino, is that right? Ino, you're talking about.
No, it's I think I forget her name every time. You know her name, Ragnar. What's her name? The proctor for the second.
Purple,
the forest.
the purple
Are you
hair.
talking the purple
I think that
haired
is
one that
Ino.
was originally bitten by Orochi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, that's beyond me, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Ino, surely.
No, Ino is the blonde girl with the mind
Look it up
jutsu.
real quick.
You know,
Oh,
Shikamaru's
shit.
team.
Oh shit,
What he's
man. I
what
don't
he's
even like
looking
her.
up.
She's the
What I like
principal in
about-
Naruto too. That name is beyond me.
What's her name? What's her name? She's cool.
So
She
basically,
don't take
what I,
no one.
yeah, to finish this up, and then I can give my rating. And I also like the whole, literally, everyone that we was introduced at the beginning, all the other teams, they were fighting against one another. And I liked how the introduction of this arc is the Sarukage explains the legend of how it started the Chunin exam, which was a ritual of battle, representing their even nation. And then literally, by the end of the Chunin exam, even in the middle of the Chunin exam, they have to do an alliance and represent their nation at that moment. I really
Yeah.
liked it. It's like it's
Her name is
literally
Anko.
Anko,
Anko,
yeah.
yeah, of course.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyways, yeah. So for me, my rating is
Anko.
honestly And the fight with the Okage battle, for me it's an A.
Oh man, it's so unfair to put all this into one.
About that. You're
Dude, it's the Hokage battles.
They
Ito
brought
Tensei.
back Hashirama, Toby. That is crazy. I forgot about that. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, early days
No,
as well.
I'm done. I'm done with my rating with an A. Obviously, after other people, I could change, obviously, but right now it's an A.
Fritz, give us your thoughts on the sort of tuning exam and the war that happens, the attack on the Hidden Leaf Village.
I would agree that Gaara's probably one of my favorite characters, especially when everything was coming out when we was kids. You don't realize now, at this point in the story, that Gaara is a copy clone of Naruto's life going down the wrong path. But he is definitely one of my favorite characters. His fight, especially, you know how brutal that gets, and going into pretty much after that. Oh man, what is it? What am I trying to say?
I was just gonna touch on what you just said then. Like, I've never really thought about it, but on reread, it's definitely pretty sweet, right? Knowing that, like, Gaara is sort of just another Naruto. You know what I mean? Like, just a different,
shunned
like,
by the
path.
community completely because of what's sealed. You know what I mean? Like, he is
Yeah,
a
parents.
clone of the wrong path of what Naruto could have been.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we get to see Rock Lee fight Gaara and Sasuke, right?
Yes, and Sasuke uses Lee's move as well on him.
Definitely.
And in the forest where Naruto and Sasuke fight Orochimaru, that was epic.
Yep. Yeah, epic. Fritz, give us a letter, and then we'll let Friday say a piece.
I would put it in an A. I definitely feel
Okie
like
dokie,
I
so-
definitely feel like that's a strong choice, at least compared to like what's coming.
Straight A's so far. Yeah, interesting. Okay, cool. Right, 3-day. Let's hear it.
I'd say at least an A.
It's definitely like. Well, I'll wait till my turn. But right, Ragnar. Let's hear it. What's your thoughts on the whole
I
thing?
hope my audio didn't degrade. I disconnected my mic for a bit. But I will say this, right? Eve, I don't disagree. I don't think you, just to be clear, I don't think you guys are underselling it, but I think you guys are underestimating how good that arc was, right? I did forget about the Hokage summon thing, but what Q mentioned earlier was this was the introduction of one of the most I'm him characters in the entire series. And I'm not talking just one I'm him. That was the introduction to like 5 I'm hims. That's not like no joke. I'm talking Neji, I'm talking Lee, I'm talking Gaara. Bro, like this was like the beginning to I'm him season. This is how we started to realize that the younger generation actually mattered in the ninja world. Because we were hearing stories about this weird kid from the Kazeka, like from the Sand Village that was killing Joni. And they're like, what? Joni? Ow. Well, his sand does it. We see for the first time, in that series, we saw like death just happen on the screen. Just and I'm not talking like, oh, I killed myself in order to protect my allies. Like, nah, he tried to kill somebody and got clapped. Oh, 100% clapped. We saw Sand crush that fool. It was crazy, right? But we thought Sasuke was the top 1 student in the village, and then we saw him get bodied by a man that can't use jutsu, bro. Come on, man.
True.
Yo, you guys have to remember that the most iconic scene that has happened in that made. Okay, you have to understand. Weighted training was always like a thing in anime. But there has never been a more exaggerated version of weighted training than in Naruto. When Lee drops the goddamn leg weights. Bro, oh my god.
It will always be in the top 10 moments of anime history, like, always.
Ragnar, I just realized Jirai is introduced in that arc as well.
Oh my god, I was gonna get to that. Bro, I want you to understand that it's during that arc where they try to remove Kakashi's mask.
Oh my god, the greatest filler of all time. I think it's what, episode 101, I think.
Understand, bro. I need to
And he's
understand.
like, you should have. At the end, he's just like, you should have just asked.
Bro, the Neji flashback, the whole thing about his brother doing the whole thing and getting the brand of a slave, and that is gold. All of that is gold. The Gara flashback, that is gold, right? The freaking that's the scene for the like when we I think that's the exact season where we first saw like the frustration Naruto had being by himself. Like we saw Naruto almost cry because he felt like he was doing everything by himself, right? Through the training. Come on, man. This was the tuning exams. Oh, bro.
It definitely widened like.
We can't forget
it widens pretty quickly.
And I just remembered
also-
something that was crazy
Go on.
that nobody talks about, is that because you did talk about Naruto's fight, but if you think about it, the fights that Naruto had, I always tell in the two ones, Kiba and Neji, think about it. One was literally a genius and instinct with his animal, his dog aspect, and the other one was a pure genius. And you think about it, and it's also the first arc where, well, Naruto saved the village in a way because he's the one who headbutt Gaara and knocks him out.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on. I mean, I was gonna say, like, I think like there's a few things, particularly what Ragnar was saying, that like, definitely underrated by directors and stuff in anime. Like Gaara doesn't speak. Like the impact of that. You don't have a villain that's like saying all this like whimsical, oh, my life sucks. You just know it sucks. Like the dude's got enough eye makeup on for a whole night he's banned. You know what I mean? So the guy's ready to go, and you don't need the explanation, which is cool. And also the fact that they're kids as well does, for me, it definitely hit me. Like when Lee drops the weights, it's the fact that he's a kid. You just don't. Like, for me, there was not a moment in history where I was expecting that, you know what I mean? I was just like, oh, he's taking his socks off, you know what I mean? Oh my god, like, what is this guy? So, yeah, I'm going to just go straight goated S tier. I would do S plus if I can. This shit is the greatest of all time,
S.
in my opinion.
Okay, so then
But
I'll
it's not just...
Yeah, I agree.
We have to remember that most of the points that... you guys don't realize that the tuning exams is the main reason we're disappointed in Shippuden. I don't think you guys can even like fathom that. It's because in the tuning exams, we got Sakura versus Ino. They were rivalries. They built up on that story that since they were childhood friends, they just grew into rivals, right? We saw Hinata versus Neji, the girl that felt like she had to fight for the right to stand where she was in the clan, and the dude that felt like he was too good for the fate that was given to him. Like there was a whole thing, right? And then you had Naruto, who felt like he could relate to Hinata, rooting for her in the background. That was the first time we realized what kind of person Naruto really was when it came to other people, other than people like in his team and stuff, right? And then you had like we found out about Guy and Lee's how close they are because they showed that entire thing, that entire part in there. This is before we get to like even the prelims to tuning exams. If you think about it, right before the fights, before they get to the big fights,
Somebody get
Sakura
some tissues
cutting
just
off her hair.
ready for Ragnar's nut.
I'm sorry, Sakura cutting off her hair is so slept on. Like it might not mean much to our culture, but in her culture, that's her saying, "I am severing my ties with my former self, my former weak self."
Yeah.
That was a big deal, bro. Oh my god.
If any of you watch Scrubs, if any of you watch Scrubs, then you know the impact of cutting.
I have tissues ready, bro.
Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna add something because I just realized it. And it's something that in Shippuden, if those who without this person, the war, a lot of the stuff wouldn't have been happening for Naruto and everyone. It was the introduction of what Asuma said about Shikamaru, about he might be the most laziest person, but when he puts his mind to it, no joke, he is the smartest ninja in the village. And that was like the snippets, because every time you look Shikamaru and you had that statement that Shikamaru is just the tip of the iceberg of his intelligence. He's just lazy. And then at the end of Shippuden, you see how smart he really is.
I
Mhm.
actually forgot to
Yeah.
bring that up. We have to remember Shikamaru was the only man that lost that day that still got Chunin. That was crazy. It's
He
crazy.
gave up. He gave up. He gave up.
What I was going to say, basically, another saying about we were kids and all the characters were kids. Ragnar was touching on meeting all the whole roster of like the upcoming sagas and stuff, and the fact that each of them had like one sort of journeying with them sort of thing. It was all very uniform, so it was really easy to understand. Like, this is sick. I know they're sand people. I know them dudes are wind people, you know, shit like that. The sound ninjas, which, by the way, how did we not bring that up when we were reviewing the last arc? The last arc. It's that where Sasuke pulls the guy's arms out is absolutely nuts. But before I let you guys just finish it off, the other thing I was going to bring up is when Orochi arrives at the hidden village. I remember as a kid being like, what? Like, isn't this supposed to be like episodes of chapters later? But instead, Orochi just rolls up on this huge snake outside the village, and he's just like, knock knock, you know what I mean? Which I think is a sick moment. Like, so yeah, anyone else who hasn't given their letter?
The arc
think
we're
that's a
doing,
resounding
it's
yes,
got
right?
the fight. Doesn't it have the fight with Naruto finally summons the big frog and he turns it into the Nine Tails?
Is that Pain?
No, at the end of when he's fighting Gara in his,
That's true. Yeah,
and then
Gababunto,
he
whatever
gives
his name
that
is.
speech at the end of it, how painful it is to be lonely. It just got me.
That because obviously it peaks with like these two huge Jinchuriki, one or it's like Naruto on the toad, and Gaara's like attached to whatever you want to call that sand goblin monster thing.
I think it was like sleeping possum or something. he was
Shukaku.
doing.
Shukaku. I even remember the
Shukaku,
name. When
yeah.
the Toad said Shukaku was out.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I swear it's a food as well, Shikaku. Pretty tasty. Anyway, right, let's stick her in S unless we've got any complaints. I think we're majority S now. Coop's changed.
We could wrap this up in 5 minutes. I can stick them all in S, bro.
So
Spoilers for the chat, by the way.
okay, Fritz, just so you know, because it's very blurry for me because on my phone.
On my
can you tell me
phone,
the name of the?
I had to go into the advanced and change on my phone to make it so that it had a higher P on it.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah,
at the same
change the
time.
settings.
Yeah. What's the name? Just the name of the arc, like this, during the same time.
What's that?
Where?
What's the name of this arc? Is the Sasuke retrieval arc, right?
No. The Sasuke retrieval arc is what comes after.
Okay, so
Okay.
is there one here? Because there's the search of Sonata.
Ah, yes. The search for Tsunade. So basically, it's the third Hokage. It passed away, and so they have to go look. Jiraiya is sent.
Wait. Sorry.
Is
Like,
it out
if
of
we
it?
finished with the last arc, then now it's the Sasuke retrieval arc, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah.
Is that
some of these
right-
might
is that
be out
right?
of order.
No. Because think about it. It's Tsunade who gave the order to go get Sasuke back.
Ah.
She was already in the village. So it's first getting Tsunade, because Jiraiya had to go get Tsunade to become the fifth Hokage.
Okay,
And the
so
retrieval of
Rasengan
Sasuke.
stuff, basically.
Yeah.
Jiraiya,
So basically,
Rasengan.
yeah, and there's honestly not. I think it's quite straightforward compared to the other ones. Is Naruto is training to learn his signature move. His other signature move is the Rasengan, that was put in place, if I remember, by the fourth Hokage, and we get Orochimaru Tsunade versus with Jiraiya, and at the same time we see that amazing. I think it's one of the first big fights for Naruto versus Kabuto. Was obviously was stronger than him, but he surprised him with his Rasengan. So yeah, that's basically the arc.
So I'll happily start us off if you want. Like,
Yeah.
So, in fact, I'll let one of you go because I'm about to walk past a group of people. But Coob, yeah, you fire us off. You start.
Like I said, I think this arc for me is a great arc because it kind of goes in the path of the whole legendary Sannin. So think about it, all three Sannin are there. So it's quite interesting when you get that, and then you get a bit of Tsunade, especially finding out who her great grandfather was, her grandfather was. So and the whole well, how can I say that? It was a different approach for Naruto because he was trained, but as he was trained, we were getting much. That's how I felt. Like you quickly understood how powerful his like Kakashi at first. You didn't get it, but with Jiraiya, you get it on the ballpark. Like and Naruto, every time he's having difficulties, you're realizing whatever he's doing is going to be big because of who Jiraiya was already.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it's
Yeah.
So I'll say as much. I'll let the others speak about the other parts. So yeah, that's just my thoughts.
Ragnar, take it away with your thoughts on essentially, the Tsunade arc and leaving the village for the first time properly. Blah blah blah.
I'm sorry, I was not impressed by this arc.
That's cool. I'll take over if you want.
Yeah, so if I was just gonna say my piece because it's not a long piece. This arc was not bad, but it's definitely not on peak. It was, if anything, it was a bit underwhelming. A lot of it. Yeah. C.
Okay, fine then. You banned. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, I'll partially agree with that. Like, I felt like, so it's interesting that Cube just said what he said, because I remember leaving the village, actually getting to the village where Tsunade was and looking for this old gambling lady, and it just dragged and dragged and dragged, and then that's when we started towards the end. It's where we story of like he's strong, but all he can do is this blue ball, where Sasuke is doing all this like cool blue lightning stuff. So I wouldn't say it was mid. I would say it was mid plus. So I'm going to say a C plus or a B, just for them mama milkers. I mean, Jiraiya's pretty cool, and we'll go straight to Fritz with it if you want.
Pretty much, I'm gonna agree with its placing. It's one of those things where it's a necessary to continue the story, but it isn't everything that all the other arcs are that you'd want to place in a high tier, you know?
Mm-hmm. Doesn't stand up compared.
No, it doesn't
3 day.
Stand out.
Oh, sorry, Fritz. Sorry, you
okay.
can on it.
Oh, you're good.
It was okay for me. I liked seeing Tsunade overcome her fear of blood, watching Naruto and finally regaining her confidence. If not for that, she wouldn't have been able to do the surgery on Rock Lee. And of course, the legendary Sannin was pretty great in Naruto almost defeating Kabuto. I don't know, maybe a B.
I think I wouldn't disagree with it being a B. Like, I think it's C plus or B minus, but yeah, I think it's a fair shout. So, Coob, you've just got to give a letter, and I think that is us done with this.
Honestly, the more I think about it, and overall with Naruto, I'm gonna give it a C.
Okie dokie. Fair. Comparatively, I do think it's definitely one of the more dead ones, and there's just nothing really. Well, stuff comes from it, but it's more build up in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so chuck her into the C if that's okay. 3 days, the only one with the vote above it, I think. If by the way, if you see Adam lurking in the chat, he's welcome to give a letter as well. We might not consider it, but cool to see what he think.
Do want to give a shout out to his art though. Like, it is always on point. Definitely, It's corner piece there. If you didn't see it, it's the thumbnail for this section. He is a demon. He is a wizard. He is definitely a legend when it comes to this.
Yeah, seriously high bounty with pictures like that. It's like Vegapunk, but without a wrench and a paintbrush instead. Okay, Cuboid, fire us with the next one.
So this is like one of my favorite arcs in this portion of the Naruto storyline. So as a kid, because it's basically Sasuke leaves with the sound 4 to go meet up with Orochimaru, and that's where is Naruto promises to go get Sasuke, which he leaves with, I remember, Shikamaru, Neji, Shoji, and I think that's all, right? if I'm not mistaken. Tell me, guys, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's all, and that's basically quite interesting because it's the first time not only do we see Naruto fighting, but he's without his regular team. So I do like the change of dynamic, and also it's very interesting to see people like Neji, Choji, and Shikamaru into finding themselves in different situations. There was also Kiba. Forgot about that, Kiba as well. And I love the biggest plot twist was the return of the Sansui. When you get that transition of Kiba smiling, what's called Rock Lee, who also returned, who was versus Kimimaro, and then you say Gara, because I say this, Gara of all people, after what he made Rock Lee went through, he was the reason why he lost the ability to walk. So I found this moment so amazing, how Gara is the one who saved Rock Lee. And then there's the whole Naruto versus Sasuke fight, which is for me is so goated because you get that unlock flashback of Sasuke and his brother, and then you realize the real reason of all of that. And also, it's also the introduction of Itachi, if I'm not mistaken. Is it in this arc that Itachi is introduced with Kisame, or it was an arc before? We didn't talk about it.
I think it's a little. Isn't it just after the war when him and Kisame turn up with Jiraiya, which is a sick fight where Jiraiya puts him in the toad inside the.
Yeah, I forgot when it was that. But regardless, I think this arc is for me what should have followed after the Chunin exam, in terms of how epic it was, because it was literally the follow through of Oroshi's plan, which Orochimaru's plan was to get Sasuke, which So yeah. So for me,
what was the bug dude called as well? Like, is it Shibu?
Shiba. Wait, which one?
The bug dude.
His name was Shino.
Shino. Yeah.
Shino. That's it.
Yeah. Shino.
Yeah. He popped off.
Yeah. And so for me, it's very easy. It's an S. I'm sorry. With everything we had, there's just too much. It's quite interesting, and you get to see the other, like the Byakugan, in a disadvantaged type of situation. You're able to see Shikamaru using his ability in a different way, using his smartness, Kiba as well, and then you have the Kimimaro versus Rock Lee, and then you have Gara and Rock Lee versus Kimimaro, which is so peak, and then Naruto versus Sasuke, so it's an S for me.
And Gara and Lee's drunk.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah, Choji pops off later on as well. But yeah. So, Koob, have you got a letter for it, or you've given it an S?
For me,
right?
it's an S. For me, it's an S. Just for all of that.
Okie dokie. 3-day. Take it away.
I just liked every individual matchup they had, and then the Sand Village comes to the rescue. Rock Lee's. I can't even begin to. Oh my goodness, him fighting like that drunk, it was hilarious. And then, did it end? Is the arc ending with Sasuke and the Naruto fight?
The Valley of the End.
The Valley, yeah.
Definitely.
Of course, it was amazing
The
too.
location as well. It's nuts.
I think it's S too. It's just too good not to be.
Like they were saying about that first fight with Zabuza, this is probably one of the second most renowned fights in anime, along with other animes, but this one itself is probably one of the, when we were young, there were so many people who remixed that fight to Linkin Park songs, all kinds of different songs. This was the fight.
Yeah, Numb was the track that got rinsed on it. I can't remember. Is Orochimaru already fought Naruto? It all blends into one. I can't remember.
They fought in the Chunin exams when they were younger. Yeah.
And then because he fights him again, doesn't he? Anyway, what was I going to say? So. Yeah, so Fritz, you give us your take and your sort of letter for this arc.
Kind of like what I was saying, pretty much everything that leads up to the Valley of the End. That fight alone is probably one of my favorite parts. It was even out of my friends, one thing Naruto does best is getting you to relate to your real life situations to their situations. I had a best friend that even if we would conflict with, that was putting my imagery in there. It would put itself on you, and make you feel
Mhm.
so related to their story. Even though like you might not be fighting with your friend, blasting all over a freaking lake through a valley, but by God, like you feel so emotionally attached to these situations, and I would throw it in an S.
Completely. Like I was sort of saying earlier, that there's something about us being young and them being young,
Yeah.
and just being so relatable. And like you were either a Sasuke dude or a Naruto dude, really, like, or you were Ragnar, you know. So it is what it is. But so that's an S. So I think Ragnar's the last one to go beside me. So feel free to fire away, Ragnar.
All right, so
Oh,
my whole
you
thing
gave-
about this arc, I think I even said it to you that the reason I started Naruto was because of a fight from this arc, right?
Mhm.
It was Rock Lee
Kimimaro,
versus
yeah.
Kimimaro that like sold me to the series. So I'm kind of biased personally to this because there's not just that fight that happened. We saw for the first time Choji's transformed state, right? We kind of saw a potential future for Sasuke because we see the person that Orochimaru wanted before he met Sasuke, and like he was a genius and he was the top. Kimimaro was him. You know what I'm saying? And if Kimimaro worked out, Orochimaru would probably be in Kimimaro body right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we,
yeah. I
we
know what you
saw the
mean.
potential future for Sasuke. So with him just dying like that, it wasn't looking good. And Sasuke willingly accepting to like give his body away in order for it to achieve like revenge. It was really powerful if you think about it. The return of Rock Lee. You have to remember back then, even though we have Rock Lee right now, back then, no one was sure if Rock Lee would ever be able to walk again for real, for real. We thought that was
Yeah,
it,
true.
right? So
I
when he
mean,
came back,
we didn't even really know if he was going to survive. Like, really, we had no idea what was going on at that point in the story. Like, it was early days.
so when he got back, you have to put into perspective that it wasn't just surprising that he was back, it was surprising that he could still fight at all.
Mm.
And then to add on to that surprise, we found out he had a latent potential in drunken boxing, which is crazy. And
I love the way
Yeah.
they filmed it as well.
Yes,
They like
and I
swayed
think
the
Fritz mentioned-
camera and.
oh yeah, the motion direction for that fight, yes, you're right,
Mhm.
100%.
Mhm.
And I think Fritz was mentioning earlier as well, the last fight between Naruto and Sasuke on the water. That fight is probably
Yeah.
one of the most best choreographed fights in like anime history. You can watch that fight in slow mo and know that they actually choreographed every single punch, kick, and like step by step. A lot of people analyze that fight for like over a decade. It's literally top 10 fights all time. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was definitely prime. It was definitely like absolute prime.
I can't give it anything less than like A plus or an S. It's like to me it's an A plus, but it could definitely make an S. I would say A plus though.
Maybe for me, but sorry, Ragnar. Yeah, I was listening. Yeah, I think that's bang on. Like this might be a bit controversial. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of the fight. I think it's like a sick fight, and all that is just. I've just always had like during that arc as well. Like there was real stakes on the line, and we got to see some people like really. The other ninjas, how much sort of stronger they were than Naruto, or like more efficient with ninjutsu and stuff. So, personally, I really like that. It was a long one in the forest, but not too much of an issue. So I would go A personally, but the rest of you have gone S, right? So it'll be an S.
Just so you know,
And
I
then-
agree with you, Hyde. It should be an A, but I can understand S.
Yeah, I'm open to either. Yeah, if there wasn't as many votes on the S, I would have probably reconsidered. But yeah, it's an easy one for me. Some at the end. All right, so Koo, can you bring us on to the next one? I'm just going to mute up for a couple minutes. So you introduce the next one. Fritz, you start us off with your sort of review and rating, and I'll jump back in like 2 minutes.
So, like this, so we're moving on. This is the end of Act 1, which is Naruto decides to leave with Jiraiya for training. And for all those who are here, you might not know this, the real truth, but Jiraiya and Naruto left for 3 years, training in a 3 days garden, and they went to their adventure with 3 days. That's a TLA fun fact that you should all know. So you can ask questions to 3-Day after the stream about how their training went. And like this, and it starts with the homecoming. I know Fritz the Gaiden is, but Gaiden's a bit forward. I didn't see that it was that close. It was that early. It's a bit later on in the storyline.
Oh, is it?
So it starts with it starts with homecoming.
Okay.
And it's literally, sorry, like this,
We'll get it.
literally home.
We'll get it fixed
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, no worries, man. Basically, homecoming is Naruto returning to the village. So we see Naruto being much taller than Sakura. Everybody happy to see him. It is the remix version of the survival test with with Sakura and Naruto versus Kakashi, in which at the end they found out they're as teams, same team as peers and not as master and students. And it's basically the arc where they go, if I'm not mistaken, they go up to trying to help Gaara because Katsuki are making their moves, and they capture Gaara, and it goes the whole arc until the end. Until they find Gaara, they're able to bring him back to life and bring him back to the village, which is also a very important moment because, if I'm not mistaken, we know that the Sand and the village and the Live village were allies, but it was always some sort of tension. And the Kasekage, who is Gaara himself, the 5th Kasekage, kind of changed stuff. So for me, I put it between a B or an A, because I really like as an introduction arc, but it's not like a crazy arc. But for me, it's a B.
So as far as like that goes, I'm having a hard time recollecting all of the other stuff that really went on. And is this the actual introduction of the Akatsuki in here? Is that what?
Yeah, this is basically we had some hints of the Akatsuki with Kisame and Itachi, but in this arc we literally also see like all the different Akatsuki members in the cave when they're sapping out the tail beast from Gaara's body.
Okay.
So we get we see all 9 of them.
That's where the kids were when they were watching. That's what I was just talking about earlier. Then.
Yeah.
Okay, I can definitely get down with that. There are some serious fights here, and Kakashi, he totally puts up a front and full defensive, and it's either in this at the beginning before all that, or after doesn't Itachi tell him not to underestimate Kakashi because he knows of his formidability.
I'll let Ragnar take over this part because you might.
I might
be more.
I might be confused here, but I definitely do
What's
like
the question?
it.
What was the
Fritz, can
question?
you
What were you
repeat?
saying, Fritz?
Pretty much trying to figure out exactly, because I'm having memory lapse problems here. But isn't this also where Itachi pretty much warns everybody not to underestimate Kakashi here? Or is that later on?
Yeah,
think
I'm
we
sorry, I
missed
don't
the
remember
part. You missed the part when before they went to get Tsunade, where they introduced Itachi. They showed up at the
Ah,
village. That's what you're
yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
of, because I
That's
was
what I'm
that.
thinking,
You're
what's
thinking
going
about
on
when
my
they show up in the
memories?
village.
And
That would be during Chunin exams.
Okay, yeah,
uh,
gotcha.
I don't even think we mentioned that, did we? I can't remember.
No, I think Daedra. No, I know what you're talking about, Kakashi. Daedra asks question Itachi about the tail beast from the Konoha, and he says something like he's the one who barks the loudest, or something like that. And then when they met Naruto, he says, "Oh, I see what Itachi meant by he's the one who barks the loudest," because he immediately started yelling at him. I think it's what Itachi answering to about the Naruto, if I'm not mistaken.
He does tell them not to underestimate the Leaf Village at all, too. And when they're still in the cave before they all leave, except for those two that stay.
And just before we let someone else in, just because I saw the super chat, and we got basically a $5 super chat from Oz. What's up, boys? Win this beat. And I'm gonna say appreciate you for showing up, Oz. And a $2 for N Lady 3-Day with a goat.
Nice.
Gotta appreciate Oz for always showing
So
up.
we're already in Shippuden, right? We're doing homecoming?
Yep, it's up to saving the Kasekage and bringing him back to the Sand Village.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's also at the return of Naruto to the Leaf Village after leaving for
Yeah.
2 years, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Can I say this?
Go ahead. Go
Go.
ahead. I'm at a loss for
That
words
was the
here.
most underwhelming training arc I have ever seen. This man went away to train for 2 years. 2
Completely agree.
years.
Completely agree.
2 years. And what this man came back, what did he learn? Did he learn something new? No. 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 The guy didn't even know what a nature release was. He did, bro, I want you guys to understand. He didn't even know you could change the form of the release when he was training with a Sani. He learned no new jutsu. He learned nothing about advancements of how to develop jutsu. You know who learned that stuff? Everybody else.
Oh god.
Come on, bro. 2 years. Bro, I want you to understand. Naruto learned the Rasengan in a week. He learned that in a week. And Jiraiya said, I'm gonna take it for 2 years. Take it for 2 years, man. When he gets back, none of y'all gonna recognize him. Bro, you know what Sakura was doing in that 2 years? Saving lives. She was constantly holding back in all her chakra for 2 years just so she could master a jutsu that isn't even suited for people outside of the Senju clan. Sakura had such good chakra control that she was able to master a jutsu that if you're not like a massive chakra user, you shouldn't even be able to do it. But she did that for 2 years. What did Naruto come back? I can do a big Rasengan. You are garbage. You are trash. Oh my
There's
god.
a
I'm sorry.
Ragnar. There's a nice comment for you from Pete. Basically, he has kind of a answer to that. He was learning to control how to control his Jinchuriki, the Jinchuriki,
Cap.
the tail beast.
Exactly what I was about to
Cap.
say. And he nearly
He
killed
didn't.
Jiraiya.
What did he learn to control? His emotions? Cap. And he didn't even learn to control that. What did he learn to control? His libido? Cap. He didn't even learn to control that.
Bathhouse
What did he learn to
training.
control? His chakra? Cap. He still even learned to control his chakra yet. He literally learned that after Jiraiya left again. He learned how to control. Bro, what do you understand? This man went back to basics after a 2-year training arc. No,
I
Naruto,
understand your
first you
anger.
gotta learn your chakra nature. Oh, you put a leaf in a cup. Naruto, next you gotta learn how to control your chakra in your hand. Oh, 2 years for it. What was he doing? Walking?
Bathhouse training,
He
bro.
didn't even learn taijutsu. At least come back good. Yo, Sasuke left for how long with Kakashi? A month. He came back as fast as Lee. Naruto came back and he was still garbage, bro. Come on, man.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. Homecoming D. Get out of here. I love Gaara. But the main character is Naruto, bro. Shout out to Gaara.
Shout out to Gar, he says. So
Yeah, shout out to Gar.
you're saying D?
D, bro. Oh my, I hate it. Oh my god. It was
He's
such a
so-
disappointment.
I'm so disappointed. I will second that.
I'm
D.
willing to chip in. second the D. I with the Tsunade thing. It's where, for me, I started to feel like Naruto's like the edginess of him was starting to get drawn out, and I completely agree. The chapters where it was Naruto was just like, oh, move past this. There was so much other stuff going on in the world that was cool. And like I also like Pete mentioned about the Jim Cherokee stuff, which going back and looking at it, like you can all see it. It's like crafting this thing, crafting Naruto as the Jinchuriki, but like at the same time, it just didn't feel it. I didn't feel it. I felt nothing from it. I felt like, yeah, like Ragnar says, now he can do a bigger ball, you know. And then Kakashi's like, why don't you come and catch these bells? And Naruto's like, oh shit, I can't really do that very well. You know what I mean? So even though it's been all that training, so yeah, I feel it's a bit. I'll happily leave it in D personally. Give it the D.
Yep.
Was I the last one to go?
So I was just gonna ask that. Did everyone go? I'm just gonna look also in the chats because I saw people were. I think people did kind of respond. So yeah, so there's actually some response for you, Ragnar. Are you willing to do some of the response? Then we do the rating and then we go to the next one.
Let me hear what they have to say.
Okay, so first we have after I answered, there's Oz, then there's Pete, and then I'll let you answer to both of them. So Oz says I think he was learning how to control his emotion more so he wouldn't be taken over by the Jinchuriki, and he didn't do that. So he doesn't go the direction. And Pete says there's two answers. That's because he was being carried by outbursts of the fox in his fights before that. His saying Jiraiya had to get him caught up to where others already were in terms of being a good ninja. Jiraiya showed him how to be a useful ninja without the nine tail. So.
But it didn't. It like I get that, and it's true, but it definitely didn't feel like he had control. He just got possessed by the Nine Tails until the end of the story, pretty much.
Mikey, don't say fair point. Don't say fair point, Pete. Don't say fair point, Pete. Listen to what I'm saying. I want you guys to understand. In the 2 years Naruto was gone, not only did Gaara get his one tail beast under control, the full beast, right, the full one, but he also had perfect control over his chakra by then. He's not even a goddamn Uzumaki who should have a higher chance of getting the tail beast under control.
He became Hokage.
He became the Hokage. I want you guys to understand. In 2 years, in 2 years, Gaara shit on everything Naruto worked hard for. He shit on everything. 2 years, he did all of that. He did all. I want you guys to put into perspective what I'm trying to say here. You guys can say Jiraiya did this, Jiraiya did that. I'm not trying to clown on Jiraiya. I'm clowning on Naruto. That's what I'm trying to say here. The entire homecoming arc, they literally held back on Naruto's progress so there would be a story. I want you to understand, in the same 2 years, what was Sasuke doing? Killing thousands of ninja on a daily for training. What was Naruto doing? Control my chakra. My chakra needs to be controlled.
Ragnar,
dude, get out of here.
I gotta tell you, bro, you're probably one of my favorite people in this, commenting on this, bro. I like your like how serious you get about this, even though some of it is kind of like funny. Like, yeah, he really didn't do shit, did he? Your comments on here are totally peak for me, bro.
Like everyone had done stuff. Yeah, that was a bad.
By the way, Ragnar, Pete is coming with some receipts. I'm sorry, but Pete says, for the record, Ragnar has had that exact point that I said about Jiraiya's training in the past.
Yo, listen to me, Pete. I love Jiraiya. This is why when I'm talking about Jiraiya, I speak about it differently. When I'm talking about Naruto, I would put that same point in a different perspective. But bro, we all love Jiraiya, so we sometimes kind of you know what I'm saying. So
I agree. Towards it, I only have bias against it. I remember at the time just being like, Shikamaru, man. I agree to drag, you know what I mean? But and it was like that for a little while, really, with Naruto. He was kind of boring. He was good at sitting down and stuff, talking. But yeah. So fire us up, Cube. What, is everyone done their letters?
Do we have our final say, or is there more to add?
Yep. No, we have everything. It's just I just saw that both Homecoming, weirdly enough, and Kazekage Rescue Mission is separate into two. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's all in one arc.
Before we move on, actually, sorry to interrupt you. Before we move on, I'm curious, considering there's a bit of a rebellion going on in the chat. Let us know in the chat what letter you would give that arc.
Yeah, because keep in mind, this is not including the Gaara arc. The Kazekage is separate. It's just the homecoming. It's the return of Naruto, the bell, them fighting Kakashi for the bell, and then showing the results. We saw the flashback of Sasuke in Orochimaru's lair with him killing thousands of ninja. That's what the homecoming is. The first 5 or 20 episodes.
So let's see, Pete and Mikey. What sort of letters have you got for this arc?
There's a D, there's a B. Party Pete's got a B.
Who put B?
Ooh, wild. Party Pete.
Oh, I'm not sure if I even believe them.
Bean Boy, extra large Bean Boy's got a C on it.
Yeah, he's extra large though, so he's all right. All right, go on then, Coop. I was just interested what their opinions are, but fire us up with the next one.
Well, the next one is basically because it's separate into two. It's basically the second part of that arc, which is basically saving the Kazekage. I mean, both of them were separated into two, so don't know. And we kind of talk about both of them.
Even the
so
Kazekage.
Yeah. Don't know why but apparently it's separated into two arcs. I always thought it was one arc.
I just
Interesting.
I
So,
found it.
so who is this? Sakura and the old chick with the puppets. Are we? I'm losing where we are.
This is the Sakura and the puppet. This goes up to basically when we're talking about the Kazekage being saved. We thought it was one arc. It's separated into two arcs actually. It's like 1 or 7 and
And it starts with Deodara attacking Gaara, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
That's a really hard.
And it ends with the
fight.
Sasori defeat and the sacrifice of Choji? What's her name? Chiyo. No, it's Chiyo? Yeah, Grandma Chiyo.
Chiyo.
Yeah.
I was going to say Choji as well. Grandma Chiyo, yeah, that's correct, yeah. And then obviously there was some reveals in there that basically she's the grandparent of, was it Sasori?
Yep, Sasori
his
the
name?
Red Sand, if I'm not mistaken. Sasori the Red
Oh,
Sand.
it's been too long.
I know him because, being Cube of the Red Sea, we kind of
That personally,
interacted
I
in
think
the
that.
past,
Oh, you're related. I see.
Yep.
I see. Village hidden in the Red Sea. Okay, we got you. Right. So basically, I think I just
Then you're lagging big time.
Yeah, you're coming in and out.
let's go on with it. And at the top, jump in a sec.
Okay. So we graded that one. So yeah, it's graded. So now the next arc is the Tenchi Bridge reconnaissance mission.
What's the grade we gave to the Kazekage retrieval arc?
Were we combining the
Didn't
two?
you-
Oh, so we're giving it no. Listen, if it's separated, that's what I said. I said sorry, Gaara, but the homecoming brought you down. I'm giving it C at least.
Yeah, I would agree. I was gonna say C for it.
Kazekage?
Yeah.
I think that's fine. Do you want to go ahead and lead with the Tenchi?
Yep.
Sounds good.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh my days! I'm glad. How dare you give it a C? I was going to say the Deodara fight is sick, right? But the
I said
Sasori
at
fight
least.
at the
I
time
did say at least.
I know. I did. I clocked you. Man of higher level of caution. I get it. I'm just saying, like that Sasori fight. When you go back and watch it, it is a banger. It is. All them puppets are so banging, man. Like, and we get some like deaths in there as well.
Listen, the puppets can be amazing as they want, but when you get beat, you get your ass beat by a Charada. You gotta drop a few classes. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true. The puppets came in later though, so cool with it. Yeah, so I would give that a B personally, but I'll let you guys sully it with a C tier.
Soiled it.
So, okay, perfect. So the Tenchi Bridge arc is quite easy. At the end of the Kazekage arc, Sasori gave information about that he has someone who works for Orochimaru. So they're going to use that to basically try to find Sasuke. This is also the arc where Yamato and Sai are introduced to the team. Yamato was at least well accepted with the mysterious wood release, which is something that Chicago was known about. And Sai obviously was in, well, I just say that he was accepted in a weird way by Naruto and Sakura. And it's basically the whole going to Tenchi Bridge, meeting Kabuto, finding out that it was a trap by Orochimaru, with literally Naruto losing control of himself. And it continues, if I'm not mistaken, up to then reuniting is a big word, but me seeing Sasuke after 2 years. If I'm not mistaken, that's the entirety of the arc. And we found out
The
also
actual
Sai's
Sasuke.
religion. Yeah. I'll jump in afterwards. I'll let you guys bit about this arc. Maybe Ragnar, you want to start it up, or then?
Just remind me, what was the first bit of the arc you mentioned?
They went to the bridge. That's where basically they were trying to dress up as Sasori. Then Orochi tried to make his move, but Orochimaru. But then at that moment, what happens is Naruto loses control of him, and he has like that tail beast cloak around him with some of the tails.
Yeah,
And
that's when it
The
happens. Okay,
four-tailed
cool.
beast form.
Yeah.
You
Just
go-
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And
He
and
absolutely
then
starts like blasting it, basically.
Yeah. And also, I'm gonna say this before I let the torch. It's also the scene where Sasuke sees the Kyuubi, the tail beast, where he names drops Madara, the name. Which
Okay.
is, you know.
Yeah, Ragnar, start us off with this one, brother.
I'm not gonna lie, the fact that I have no memory of this arc says a lot to me already, so I'm just gonna put it in C. I got nothing for this arc.
Oh shit.
Well, can somebody tell me what happened in this arc? Somebody, y'all can go before me. Return my memory about this arc.
This is where Yamato takes over as leader.
Oh,
Yeah.
with Sai's introduction and everything?
Size
Yeah,
introduction, yes.
Oh,
Up
and
to
the real
Sasuke.
training arc starts? This is where the real training arc happens?
No. That's the arc where Sai and Yamato joins the team. They meet Orochi at the bridge, Orochimaru. Then it goes up to seeing Sasuke after 2 years. That scene. That was part of the introduction of the anime of Shippuden.
Is this the one where you have the four-tail fight versus Orochimaru?
Yes.
Yep. Exactly that. That's exactly.
No,
This
no,
is
no,
where
no. Sorry,
Gonzo
take it
comes
back.
in,
B, B, B,
too.
B, B. Easy B, easy B, easy B, easy B. That fight was
Gonzo
amazing.
comes in and starts making trouble for Tsunade for sending. He's the one that picks Sai. Join.
Nah, Pete, you bugging. That's a B, bro. That fight, that four-tail versus Sanin. Well, that was the first time we saw Orochimaru put his back into it. Come on,
They
guys.
fight to a
Yeah.
draw.
Amazing fight.
Bro,
We can't-
come on,
We
guys.
can't put that below a B.
That fight was crazy.
It was amazing.
With the bones coming out of his back and like the tail beat. Come on, man, guys.
Tail Beast Bomb.
Take the tail beast bomb, yeah.
You can't forget that now.
All right, I'm just saying. All I'm saying is I would put this as B, but if it was a C, I would get it. You know what I'm saying? But I would put this as B.
Just from discussing it.
But
and
nothing is as bad as Homecoming, so nothing else is going D for me. I'm telling you this right now.
Just from discussing it and like the
Yeah.
pretty much the situations, I would agree at putting it at least a B.
Yeah, I'll
So-
jump in at this point.
Yeah, okay,
I was going to say, don't we see the statue of Gaara or whatever it's called? That don't we see them give the body of Gaara to the statue, and we start seeing all the Akata in their voice calls, in their voice chat.
No,
Do you know
that's
what I'm
the
talking
that's the Kasagage rescue mission.
That's the last
So
part,
that's at the
right?
end of that. So this is just after this. Okay, cool. I was just
Yeah,
wondering if
yeah,
that
yeah.
bit's included.
Think about it like this: it's a
Um,
week after. It's like a week or 10 days after that, because that's where they have to
Yeah.
meet the spy of Orochimaru.
Hmm.
Or Sasori.
It was cool. There was some pretty cool stuff going on. And what about? Okay, so what about Shikamaru's fight with the team and Azuma versus
That's after. That's afterwards. That's much. That's
Okay.
later on.
much
Yeah.
later? Okay, right. I'm getting my. I'm
Not
getting
much
my
later,
set.
but
Okay, cool.
yeah. No worries.
I'm gonna go C. I know that like people are gonna be like, "What the fuck?" Like, but yeah, I'm not a big. I love Orochi, and I just wanted to proper stuff done, but instead it was when we first started getting the crazy animation. I was just like, "Oh no!" But yeah, that's my take.
Okay.
Any
Who else?
letters?
Who else want to go? Don't know.
Yo,
Speedy, did
Fritz,
you go?
have you decided, Fritz? What do you
I
think? Where do you think it should go?
I decided that I do agree with you. As far as like some of these things are lost on me because I haven't I don't recall absolutely everything, but definitely the fight, the foretell form, which is he was pretty much just raged out, you know. And so it goes against everything that they'd said about him training to control himself. He was in no control.
He gave over
Agree.
control easily to
Mm-hmm.
Tails.
It's like we were warned it was going to happen, and then it just happened. So
Yeah.
all of that time was for nothing, and now we've got, instead of Naruto versus, we've got just some beast that we have no identity to or like sort of knowledge about, really. Like,
Let's see the Rashomon from Orochimaru
it's
too,
great.
right? He tried to block the peace bomb.
Say again. Say again.
The Rashomon Orochimaru used to block the tail beast bomb. During
Yeah, that was-
fight.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Hmm.
And I always say I really like
Yeah.
how Orochimaru spit himself out of his own body. That was a very weird and interesting thing he did.
Crazy.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't this still at this point? Does Orochi still have no arms he can use?
No, remember he? I think he already did the switch. Remember, he was just at the end of that
Okay.
body.
No, he still couldn't use his arms. He couldn't
still-
use jutsu.
I thought. Yeah. Yeah. Or could he use one
I
arm or
remember.
something? He
I
couldn't use
think I
his
remember
full-
part of the
his full
reason why
strength.
he said he lost that fight was because he could use his arms.
Wait, yeah, that's right. He couldn't have used Rashomon with him.
It's true. It's true. No, I think no. Think about it. He at the end of the retrieval arc, Sasuke arrived and it was too late. Orochimaru became impatient. He took a new body.
Yeah, that's
You're
right.
right,
That's right.
you're
right.
It's with Kabuto and the Three Sanin and the Naruto, where he used
Yeah,
Kabuto
yeah.
for the summoning. For the summoning.
It was with the
That's what's
legendary
asked earlier,
Sonic.
the-
He
the
couldn't
Kabuto
use them.
situation.
The three-way fight between the legendary Sonic and he couldn't use
Yeah.
them then. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah. Kabuto is the one he used. Kabuto is the one who did the seal for
Right.
Orochimaru.
Guys, I think Pete is really fighting for that Tsunade to be B tier. Can we just all look at him and say no?
We can let 3-Day and Fritz decide.
I don't know. I guess B or A. I don't know. I liked it.
For
That sounded like a D to me, Ragnar.
Yeah, that sounded like an F. I wish it was there.
Mm.
Didn't like the Ishi Bridge arc or whatever you call it.
I think like right. I might like this is what I'll say is it should be higher than it is, and for like the arc we're talking about right now. I mean the Tsunade. It should be higher than it is, and it isn't, which makes me even more disappointed in it. If that makes sense. Like it's
Yes.
kind of cool, but it's just not like
It's not
clean
there.
enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's
So-
better than a Kazekage retrieval, but it's not like it's not Land of Waves level, and it does to me.
No,
Nothing
no.
happened in that entire Tsunade retrieval that really passes, or even
It's
matches
flat.
up to that Orochimaru. Yeah, it's flat. Yeah, it doesn't match up to that Orochimaru
we've had
showcase.
some peak up to here. We've had some peak up to here, so we'll let this one go a little bit, and the flat continues for too long, and then everyone's moaning about it. But yeah, okay. So the last one, I'm sorry, Pete, we're gonna have to keep it at C unless you spam Ragnar enough, and then we'll change it. And then this arc, I'm personally gonna go for C plus.
I'd set a B just because I agree with Ragnar on that. He's got more input on it than I do. But definitely the forms, the fight, the draw between Orochimaru and Naruto, it's really scaling up his power, and I think sitting at B is a good place for it.
Yeah, it's a B at peak. Like it's best at B, but it's like right. If it's C, it's like C plus top of the C, but it's B. And for me, average B would be there. Bottom of B, middle of B.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For me, it's gonna be a B because everything said I agree, and it just for me is the the weight of seeing Sasuke back, and the difference between Sasuke and Naruto. He literally like appeared next to him. Naruto was completely shaken by his speed. You know, so for me it's a B.
At this point as well, I'm gonna to sort out the kiddie. I'll be in chat and I'll drop some comments and stuff. Safe hands of Cube and all.
Yeah, no worries, man.
But yeah, thank you, guys, for rocking up as always.
No worries, man. Appreciate you for being here. You know. So yeah.
Thank
We'll see you in the chat.
You. Well, yeah, I'll be dropping some rankings in the chat. Right, you guys enjoy. Have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night, bro.
You too.
All right, brother.
So the next arc, well, I was mistaken.
Yeah,
when
Cube,
I
you
told
gotta
you.
inform me on this arc right here. I'm not gonna lie.
Which one?
This arc is the Akatsuki suppression. This one I wasn't sure, but
No,
it's
it's not.
basically
It's
the whole.
isn't it Gaiden? I'm seeing
that-
Gaiden next.
That's just there. I'm not exactly sure how it got misplaced.
Because-
Most of it's been in
yeah.
order.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The Gaiden one I don't remember, but I do think it's around the. Is it before the pain arc? If I'm not mistaken, I really don't remember when it appears, but I know it's at one point in Shippuden, not at the beginning.
I'm gonna place it.
I don't
there,
remember.
We'll catch back up to it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Basically, that arc is a Akatsuki suppression arc, which is basically the whole storyline with Kakuzu and Hidan, which starts with Kakuzu and Hidan chasing one of the tailed beasts from another village. I think it's the one. I think it's the two-tailed. Then it goes to them meeting up with Asuma, fighting with Asuma, Shikamaru, Team 7, which Asuma passes away, which I really like the battle because we didn't see much of Asuma. And his sacrifice, honestly, was pretty powerful, even though he knows he was a goner. And then it goes with Shikamaru with his master plan, and going with Kakashi being their lead captain. Naruto's training, that I won't talk too much because I know Ragnar will want to take over that part. Then with Naruto arriving, showing him his Futon Rasen Sharingan. I remember the name, even everything. That pretty powerful move. But yeah. That's basically this arc, and I'm gonna just say Kakuzu is one of my favorite Akatsuki villain. And again, I always tell I love Shikamaru's mind, and I think this is one of the arcs where what was told about Shikamaru in the Shunin exam, you saw it in real time. And what's so impressive, it was to avenge the one who talked about it, the one who praised about his intelligence. And that was like where we really saw, oh, okay, he's really, really. So yeah, for me, the grade for me, because I really like a lot of stuff, I'm gonna put it's a high B, low A. That's how I see it. Anyways, I'll let you guys go.
I kind of want to hear what 3-Day here has to say about this. I know we can just go straight to Fritz before I say anything, to be honest.
I have a hard time commenting on some of these because I really just lapsing for information here. It's been so long.
Well, I can tell you what happens. This is when Kakashi uses wait, look at this, right? Yeah, this is when Kakashi uses the second level of the Sharingan for the first time. This is when Naruto does the Rasen Shuriken for the first time. This is when you hear about the backstory for Kakuzu and how he's defeated and everything. This is when this is a whole lot of stuff happening in this arc. This is when Sakura and Naruto, for the first time we've seen the entire story, actually get along. The training arc also happens here. Yeah, I'm not giving my point. I'm just telling you, I give you some short snippets of what happened. Oh, this is when we learn about Sai's backstory, about like his brother and stuff too. So.
So yeah, that's basically that. But Hidan and Kakuzu were basically the immortal twins of the Akatsuki.
Oh, I forgot about Hidan. Yes,
Yeah,
Hidan
yes.
happens here as
Yeah.
well. The whole Shikamaru thing happens
Avengers and
here. I
everything.
don't know if you remember the
He
Shikamaru
does.
thing. Should I get more in detail with that for you, Fritz?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best, Joe.
All right. Remember? Okay, just to remember, Hidan is the dude with the 3-sickle scythe, and he's like immortal, and he worships the god that makes him not able to die. And
Ragnar,
if you remember,
the god Jashin. Don't
no. I said the god because that dude is the trash god. No offense, that god is trash. So you have to remember, this is where my favorite character in the entire story dies, as well, right? And it's it's one of the saddest deaths in the series because he doesn't even get to finish his cigarette. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Asuna, bro. Uh, this is where the crumble, the first time we've seen, like, how can I explain this? Like, we kind of seen Shikamaru not want to be lazy for the first time ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, he gets a
Exactly.
motivation to do something for the first time ever.
It's not a drag.
It's important.
It's
to
not a
weigh his
drag,
losses.
exactly. Yeah, right. If you actually remember this, I think this is the same arc that Shikamaru decides that Naruto should be Hokage as well. Yeah. So
Yeah.
just put all that into perspective and know that this is the training arc for Naruto, the Shikamaru thing, the Asuma death, the hidden Hidan losing, what's the name of that 5-heart dude? 5 hearts. Cube. Conqueror. No.
Dude, my favorite
Kakuzu.
Akatsuki.
Sukaku. No, that's not it.
Kakuzu.
Takuzu.
The man that talked fight. Remember his time fighting the Kage.
Yeah,
Just remember that.
he survived the fight with the first Hokage, which we know now is a big deal. Because if you think about what we saw in the war, yeah, that's a big deal. No, that's a big deal. So just put that into perspective and then come back. So yeah, 3-day. Just let me know what you think about this arc and then like give it your rating.
I think it's S tier for the Shikamaru stuff and Asuma stuff alone. I mean, what happened, he just came back so strong and with the best strategy you could, possibly imagine. It was amazing to me.
I don't disagree with that. It's
Same.
like Pete said in the chat, top 5 get backs of all time. Facts.
I definitely
No,
have
it's a
to.
top 3. It's a top 3, Pete. It's not even a top 5. It's a top 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant.
I'm gonna have to go with Angel's Room 659 and Gross Stonks. They are saying it is S tier. I'm gonna have to agree with them, I guess. You know, you gotta respect some of these guys. They guys out here in the chat, they do know what they're talking about. They are just Advent fans, just as all you guys are. I'm not gonna give it to them every time, but definitely, just from everything I'm hearing, and I'm not, just for some reason my brain's not firing, but I'm gonna have to agree with them.
In a way, it was kind of one of the scariest arcs to me too, though they were definitely dangerous people. It didn't seem like it was possible to win against them.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna give this arc an A+, but I can, if you guys say S, I can understand, right? And if you guys say S, I understand, but I'm gonna give it an A, and the reason is this: I love Asuma, by the way, guys. Asuma is like one of my most favorite characters ever. Like, it was just like when Naruto was doing his training arc. I'm gonna get to Naruto's training arc soon. When Naruto was doing his training arc, one of the only people he could ask for advice was Asuma, and it felt like literally like a week later, he died, right? So we've known Asuma from the beginning of the series, but he wasn't like a very main screen kind of character. So when we actually went to like the training arc for Naruto, keep in mind the training arc for Naruto is one of the best, most in detailed, most accurately portrayed training arc ever. The fact that Kakashi, I'm gonna get to it. But anyway, yeah. When I saw Asuma give like a detailed explanation to Naruto on how chakra nature transformation works and how like he creates his wind blades basically, I was shell shocked because it's actually a really good technique. And not only that, we find out that Asuma is also a Sarutobi. But that back then questions were going around with Sarutobi, who's he related to? He's related to the third, just like Konohamaru is. But he's not Konohamaru's dad, he's Konohamaru's like uncle. But we never see them talk. They never see them actually like communicate, which is really weird in the series, right? So I always found it interesting. So I always thought it was more to happen with his character. And then you see Shikamaru. Asuma is one of the very few adults Shikamaru respects who is dumber than him. Right? It's not like Asuma is smarter than Shikamaru. There's very few people smarter than Shikamaru, but he has an insane amount of respect for Asuma's way of life, right? And it's through Asuma that we see the technically the existence of the Will of Fire. That after the third Hokage died, the Will of Fire didn't go away. It was still there. It was still alive in the Leaf Village through Asuma. Burning Ash is one of my favorite jutsus in the entire series. So when he's fighting Hidan and he's fighting a legit immortal, I want you guys to understand what I'm saying. This is in the Naruto world. If you don't understand how a jutsu works, you just gotta figure it out. And if you can't figure it out, you're gonna die. That's just how it is, right? So when Asuma is running into a situation where he's fighting an immortal, there's legit no way to actually kill this man within battle. There's none. Even to this day, it hasn't happened. How do we know this? Because how they defeated him in the same arc was not through like killing him in battle. They severed his body into multiple pieces across the forest, and then they had ninja animals. And if you remember, ninja animals are a thing. Example, the ninja dogs Kakashi summons. They had ninja animals watch over the individual body parts for eternity. So even if Hidan was to bite himself out of that grave somehow, chew the dirt until he made it to the top, some animal would come back and bury his head right where it should be, right? It is the most, like people say, it's the most goated get back you can get. It doesn't, like, he has to eternally stay underground and rot, even if he doesn't want to. He can't even worship his god anymore. It's like super sacred, like W get back. But it's not. I'm gonna get to the Naruto training arc. This is my favorite thing about the training arc, and this is why I told you the training arc that happened for 2 years was garbage, right? But I'm gonna get to that. Kakashi gets Naruto for like 2 weeks. He gets him for like 2 weeks. He's like, I know somebody. I'm gonna train you, Naruto. I'm gonna train you so you can fight Sasuke, because you're the only one that will fight Sasuke and not kill him. So I'm gonna train you. And I know somebody from back in my dog days that's perfect to keep you under wraps, since Jiraiya is on a very important mission right now. Right? He chose Yamato. That was Kakashi. Kakashi did that because he knows. Who knows? Kakashi knows. That's what he knows. So Yamato pulls up. He has wood style. Wood style is perfect for subduing freaking, what's it called? Jinchuriki. Kakashi then says, okay, Naruto, you need to get better at Rasengan. Naruto's like, how are you going to help me get better at Rasengan? You know what Kakashi does? He does the goddamn Rasengan. He's like, he knows Rasengan. Yes, he knows the Rasengan. Crazy, but he does. That's when we find out for the first time Kakashi is somehow connected to Naruto's dad. But we didn't know he was his dad back then. But he's connected to Jiraiya in some way. Jiraiya's student. He's Jiraiya's student.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
like,
yeah.
in a sense, Kakashi is Naruto's uncle. We never knew. There's actually a whole thing going on the internet saying part of how Naruto paid for his meals, Kakashi had to work for Danzo to watch Danzo, so he wouldn't hurt Naruto. But that's all fan theory. Nobody knows. Anyway, Kakashi says to Naruto, you can use your shadow clones to train. So guess what Naruto does? He makes shadow clones. And then Kakashi demonstrates an average person could only make about 1 or 2 shadow clones. But because of who you are, because you're an Uzumaki, your chakra is abundant. And then put on top of that, you're a tail beast user. Your chakra is almost unfathomable. No one can really compare to you in the verse. So you can make hundreds of these guys train for you. And you'll get all of the benefits of that training. So Kakashi, who is the mere Jonin, came up with a training tactic to accelerate Naruto's training in 2 weeks that Jiraiya couldn't do in 2 years. So all I gotta say is that is the most goated training arc in the entire thing. Most goated one. So I have to give it at least an A, but I can understand that. That's all I gotta say. It's the most goated training arc. I could get in more details about what they're doing in training, but that's not relevant, to be honest. But I just want to point out how goated that training arc was.
Denden in the comments says at me S for everything with Sanji heart faces.
Yeah, I think that's everybody. I think it's two S's and two A's, and then the chat says S mostly. So what are you guys gonna do? We're gonna make chat take the final vote.
I think the chat deserves to give this one an S.
Me too. I'm an S.
And then also says S, so I guess it's S. All right, so
Oh, Denden
next
says
thing we're
A
gonna
on
be
it.
doing. The next work is what? The Itachi search. Oh my. Let me pull up the Itachi search arc.
Angels is slapping S's in the chat.
You've got Party Pete in here now.
We do? Oh no.
Hello.
Wow.
So
No,
I
no, no.
Oh, now it's
it
on.
was then decided to replace. He had to dip out last minute, and we fought to get Ragnar's arch nemesis.
Oh no. Chat. This is about to be a roller coaster ride.
Drop a W for Pete.
I'm not gonna
Rival
I'm not gonna
on the
rehash
VC.
the Tsunade stuff. You know.
We're gonna leave it alone in the past, right?
Yeah. I'm not gonna rehash.
Alright.
Alright, currently we're at the Itachi Pursuit arc, right? This is the 10 arc of the Naruto series where Sasuke Uchiha is on the hunt for his brother. While Naruto aims to find Sasuke first, Itachi Shidenboku Light Dark. I'm gonna skip on that part. The first part of the focuses on Itachi, life leading up to the following of Uchiha clan downfall. It serves as an intermission to the very start of the Kaguya Otsuki strike arc. Itachi's pursuit mission, also known as the Master Prophecy and Vengeance, in the arc of part. The summary is garbage. Cube, where do you read your summaries?
Right. I feel like that sounds like it's a lot later in the story.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's using the entire story as context for the arc, which I don't want to.
Oh, is this? I mean, is this just when? Is this when Sasuke gets beat up by Killer Bee?
Yes, this happens during that arc. I think. No, it doesn't. This happen. That would be after. That would be way after this arc.
This is basically
That's not long after
this,
that.
Hold on.
He joins
basically
Red
this arc.
Hot.
Yeah. Okay, this is basically it starts with the death of Orochimaru by Sasuke. Sasuke basically assembling his team, and basically, and I think at the same time, we are getting no. Then it's Sasuke going up to Itachi, where Kizami interjects with them, saying that only Sasuke can enter, and there's their battle. I'm on a wiki, basically. I look at the full, and I just reading very fast. And at the same time, Naruto and the rest are going to look for Sasuke. It's the moment.
All right, here's a summary. The Pursuit arcs marked an important shift in the point of view of Naruto Shippuden takes. During and after this arc, the anime begins to focus more on Sasuke as it shows both Sasuke and Naruto attempt to find Itachi. In this arc, Sasuke forms his first interaction of Taka. This new group included Suigetsu, Hozuki, Jugu, Karin Uzumaki. Read some more.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it joins with.
I remember this entire So this is like
Yeah,
the formation of Taka, Sasuke meeting up with Akatsuki for the first time, kind of subduing but not fully subduing to them. Yeah.
And in the wiki, it adds so Naruto's faction going to look for Itachi, the whole thing, that they were hunting down, and it also takes in the Daedra battle, the fight apparently.
It does.
Yeah, it goes up to the Daedra
You are
battle.
correct. You are correct.
So I guess you guys have everything.
I mean, I feel the Daedra fight is, I think, probably a saving grace if the rest of that stuff is all that happens, because the whole assembling of the Avengers for Sasuke I found to be fairly lackluster. So I would maybe, because of the Daedra fight, I'd maybe put it at a B, because Daedra is entertaining. But
Doesn't he fight Itachi in this too?
is this where
No,
Itachi
that's
died?
later on. Sasuke
That's
versus
later
Itachi happens later on.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just a pursuit.
Just
Yeah,
This is
that's
when they
not.
try to capture him, so it's up to the point of them getting to closer to Itachi's lair and everything.
Itachi dies after Jiraiya, so you guys know. So we need to have the Jiraiya
Right.
thing before. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So yeah. If this is not like the fight where Itachi dies, then yeah, the Datara fight. I think
Angel,
is
this is
what
not the
Vader did.
Sasuke versus Itachi arc. That arc happens like an arc later from here.
Yeah. It works just like that.
If he
go-
dies
basically-
after Jiraiya, yeah.
No, yeah, because I was mistaken. There's no Itachi Kisame. They're looking for him. They're hunting down. So the Taka is formed, and the lacklusting Konoha team are also formed. And then the first thing Sasuke meets up is Deidara, which he fights, and then there's also Tobi.
Where does this arc end?
It ends with I think the Naruto, basically Deidara like blowing himself up. Plot twist. Spoiler alert. For those who, and I'm looking to be sure on the wiki, but it seems to be, yeah, it's up to that.
If I'm not mistaken, is this the arc where Sasuke kills Orochimaru?
Yeah, it starts with
I think that's how it
Orochimaru.
starts.
Yeah,
So
Orochimaru. Then
yeah.
Taka, the others looking for Itachi as well. Ah, yeah, and there's also the after Deidara and Sasuke fight. The snippet is the whole Itachi meeting of Naruto with the crows. I think I don't have to say any more than that. Yeah,
So
that's how the arc ends.
you have to understand the fights that happen in this series are Sasuke versus Orochimaru. It should also be Jugo versus did Jugo and Kakashi and Sasuke fight? No, I don't think they did. He just
A
chose.
bit.
Yeah,
A
not
bit,
that I
a
know
bit.
of.
Yeah, a bit.
It
to
was, I
control
wouldn't
him.
call it a serious fight, but basically no really big fights happened. This was mostly a build-up arc. This is a build-up
Right.
arc. Sasuke forming his first team ever since he left the village. He finally frees himself from Orochimaru's binding by killing him, but he didn't know. You guys know Orochimaru never dies. And then like what is it? Deidara fight. The Deidara fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The
that's what-
Patrick
yeah,
Star
yeah.
Jutsu. So we all know.
Yeah, like I said, I think barely B tier, maybe.
For me, I won't lie. The only thing I think that's savable on this arc is literally the Sasuke part of it.
You don't like
Sasuke part of it
you
is
don't
the,
like the Datara fight?
no, I mean the Sasuke part because he fights against Sasuke. I mean like the Naruto and the rest of the stuff, like anything without the Sasuke in this arc, I think it was like you said lackluster. Like the fight with Deidara, him forming his team, and I did like the different. If you think about it, as they go further, this team is very interesting. There's an Uzumaki. We have literally someone connected to Jugo, and then we get someone who got a callback, Zabuza, someone who knew Zabuza. So I did like a bit that this team, if you think about it, this team does connect with something that Sasuke knew about when he was his time as a ninja. There's one member of the Sound Four, like connect to the Sound Four. There's one connection to Zabuza, and there's one connection, very barely, of Naruto. It was also a very interesting team that he formed in a way. So I always like that. So, but for me, it's like a C.
Kedman, you are right. It does end literally before Sasuke goes to see basically fight Itachi. Yes, that's how it ends.
Yeah.
Basically, that's why I said
Yeah.
it's not the Itachi versus Sasuke fight technically,
Yeah.
but it's right before that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, without the
So, yeah.
Itachi fight included, I think. Yeah.
Overall, guys, it's definite. Okay, you have to understand, the Deidara versus Sasuke fight was very good. Deidara is a very interesting character because you have to remember he had an inferiority complex for Itachi. If anything, if Sasuke went about that fight a different way, he maybe have been able to convince Deidara to help him kill Itachi. Like it's not that crazy, right?
Right. But he
Um,
didn't do that. So what's your grade?
He didn't do that. You're right. So my point is, I'm just saying that Sasuke versus Deidara fight brings it up to a B for me. So I'm with Pete on this. It's right up there in B. It's not good enough for A. It's 100% not good enough for A, but it's definitely good enough to be a B. I would actually listen to an argument for C, but I think it's better than C.
I'm just for the build up it's exactly one of those situations where yeah, there's great stuff happening, but it's more building for a finale of steps to occur, you know. I would agree with you.
I'm
Yeah.
B too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if this is the
I'm gonna-
quality for B tier, we know what should be up there.
Yeah. So I think that's that. Let's move on to the real arcs.
You want to put
So
play
this is where the story of Shippuden actually starts getting decent, but also decently bad.
Yeah.
So it's
So
like a
for the-
mixture of both.
Yeah. For me, I think I agree with the ranking you just gave. I think I'm agree with you guys. The Daedra and then Sasuke fight was also pretty good. So and I did like the one thing I liked about this is the usage of the natural elements. If you think about it, there was a whole plot twist of him being earth based and Sasuke using his Shidori blade, that blade of Shidori attack. So I did like how he was able to, if I'm not mistaken, to basically render the mines unusable in the sense they didn't blow up because of that, or something like that. So I did like that. It was also it was a lot of strategy in that fight. It wasn't just throwing it wasn't a Dragon Ball fight. You know what I mean? There was a whole warlike battle aspect to it. So yeah, that's how I would put it to a B. So as well.
What's the next one?
And next one. So basically, we all think that is Itachi, but actually, it stopped for like 5-6 episodes with Jiraiya trying to uncover Pain's identity. As you all know, it's basically Jiraiya going by himself to the village of the rain, where he basically meets Pain, and the path of his path of 6 Pain, if I'm not mistaken. And basically, so this arc is just Jiraiya's fight, in which his demise. And I would like for everyone in the chat to drop a capital J for Jiraiya. Rest in peace. Best.
Oh
purpose
yeah,
ever.
this is Tale of Jiraiya the Gallant, right?
Yeah, weeping.
And which basically, yeah, we also get a bit
Well,
of
you
a
can just put this in
flashback.
that S tier.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just
All right.
joking. I'm saying you can just put
All
it
right.
in S
Can I
tier.
I'm just
This
gonna
is
give
what
the
Jiraiya
summary.
has.
Yeah.
This arc sees Jiraiya's investigation of Peyton's identity. It spans from volume 40 to 42, and more specifically covers chapters 368 to 383, manga and episodes 127 to 133. This arc preceded the Itachi pursuit arc and followed by the fated battle between brothers. It's the arc literally where Jiraiya goes into the village of the rain,
Yeah.
and
And
he
you also get the flashback.
infiltrates. You do get a flashback to the Third Great Ninja War, and when we
even get
meet
the-
Nagato and all the other two people. What's the first two people's name? Yasuke.
Conan, and it's also some of a Y.
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
Yeah, me too.
Is
I
this
forgot
where
his
he
name.
dies?
Jiraiya? Yeah,
I-
basically.
Pretty sure
basically
he
it's like,
dies.
It's like 6 in the anime. It's like 6-7 episodes. It's a mix between his investigation and the flashback of that war, where we also get Hanzo giving them the nickname, the legendary sound, and we get that special moment, how they got nicknamed that way, as well. So that's basically that's the arc, which it ends with Jiraiya dying, and as he dies, he makes this statement about Naruto. So yeah. So it's basically a 6-7 arc episode of the life and death of Jiraiya in a sense. We get his whole ambition and everything. So yeah, for me it's one of my favorite arcs because I just like that it showcased one person that we've seen a lot, that influenced a lot, and I like that they gave him his due. You know what I mean?
He gets cut down.
Yeah, it's such a sad death. Honestly, I remember I was very. It's one of those deaths that affected me when I was younger. I mean, I didn't
Oh, yeah.
cry, but I felt it.
We got
Does
jumped.
anybody actually remember how this arc went? Just to be clear.
I mean, I
I
remember
remember.
the investigation, like throughout
Yes.
and the flashback and all that stuff. Like, yeah,
I remember.
All right.
I
remember it as well. You got just think about the anything involved Nagato as a child when they were training. Think about the formation of the original Akatsuki, that kind of stuff. Think about Jiraiya, everything to do with his fights with Pain, and don't forget the what?
Right.
Did
feel like
in the
that's-
chat put
feel like
P
this
plus,
is-
and Angel's room was trying to tell him he needs to do what he needs to do because he doesn't want the B plus, he wants it better.
Wait,
I'm just saying. Just remember, guys. This is the arc where Tsunade solidifies herself as a Hokage. This is the arc where Naruto stops joking around and finally being the promised child. This is
No,
the
no, no,
arc.
no. It's after that. It's after the Itachi thing. Basically, we just get the Jiraiya thing, and then it's
No,
just
I'm saying that,
transition to the.
I know this. I know it doesn't happen
Ah,
in this arc, but it happens
okay.
because of this arc. That's what I'm saying. That's what
I
I'm saying.
agree.
It's like you have to put the value on the arc how it is. Like after Jiraiya died, I remember they showed like children seeing hearing about his death and then started training again. I think me and Pete talked about this recently with Angel, where his impact alone changed the entirety of like how the village went about this threat
Mhm.
of the Akatsuki.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
he was Sanin. The Sanin weren't just like regular ninja to the leaf. The Sanin represent something. They are supposed to be the untouchables, the undefeatables. Like, they are the peak of what every leaf ninja aspire to be. So when Jiraiya passed, it was no different from them saying, oh, this is the level of threat we're handling. This group of people aren't just someone we can even spy on without thinking we can die. I know there's anybody, even Sani could die.
I don't think
Isn't
any
this-
of us. I don't think any of us disagree. This is
Yeah.
Isn't this
I
the
think.
art where we learn Sage Mode from Jiraiya?
Yeah.
About that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Like, does anyone have this below S tier?
No.
S tier.
And also, if you think about it, that's also the introduction.
I would
No.
put this at A, but I can understand.
Oh no. This is S tier, my friend. Like
S tier, yeah, S tier.
Yeah. This is like in terms of, and like just like you said, we were in a conversation with Angel or whatever the other day. This is literally an arc that compares to the death of Whitebeard at Marineford in terms of impact on the world
Mm-hmm.
and how like people reacted to it. There's no way it can't be S tier. It's Marineford level of importance to the story. So like,
I'm gonna add on with this. If you think about it, we have a whole
Actually, I
issue.
agree with this because it was because of Jiraiya's death that the 5 Kage summit even happened.
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, just like you were saying before, the whole script changed for everybody.
And also think about this, right? We all have our own take about the prophecy aspect of Naruto. But you think about it, without that prophecy of you will either this prophesized student that you will train will either destroy the world or save it. And it brings up so much when you know that both Pain / Nagato versus Naruto both represented at one side of it. So whoever would win would dictate the prophecy that Jiraiya saw. So that's what, like, if you think about it, without those 6-7 episodes, you do not get the same. You're not that emotion invested in the outcome of this battle. It's like it's not just a battle where they lose. It's Jiraiya saw a prophecy about being something that would change the world. Whoever wins them, in a way, you know. So I like the I do feel like this arc literally, like you guys said, it's a foundation of so many stuff in the future. This arc, it's an S tier for sure, and I also feel S tier is too low.
I agree.
As I place this in S tier, can I get an F or a J in the chat for our
Alright.
respects here? F is fine.
R.I.P. my man Jiraiya.
Yeah,
F
man.
in chat for pay your respects.
Yo, and in memory of Jiraiya, we should move the Tsunade search up to B. Sorry, I had to throw it.
Yeah, no worries, bro. No, bro. We appreciate you for that. So now with that ranking done, if I'm not mistaken, that's the name of the arc. The arc. I'm just gonna say the name of the arc. We all know what it is. The fated battle between brothers. Do I need to make a summary, or you all know what happened in
No.
this arc?
I think it's a solid A tier arc, but I'm also not the biggest Sasuke fan. Like, you know, for not
also,
reasons really doing this.
Just so you know, this arc includes the Sasuke versus Itachi, the truth about the Uchiha clan, so the reveal of what happened, decoding the message, so the Naruto finding out about Jiraiya, and Taka going after the Killer Bee.
Oh, never mind. S tier. He gets beat up
Yeah,
by
S-
Killer Bee. That alone doesn't enough.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
So
With
A
Sasuke
great
versus
humbling of Sasuke.
Itachi and ends with what now?
It goes up to them going to the what's the name? The village under the clouds or something like that, where they go
Yeah.
after the Killer Bee.
Cloud.
Yeah, and we also get the Itachi flashback with, again, one of the many reasons why I say I hate Danzo as a character. The guy's a poisonous rose. That's how I see him. You know, wherever he goes, there's poison. Well, yeah,
He joins Akatsuki in this.
yeah. And I tell this, if you think
Yes.
about it, the arc before with the Jiraiya, Tale of Jiraiya the Gallant, we get a flashback where Danzo. No, we get no, that's later on. But we kind of later on as if it builds up, I do feel like up to the Danzo versus Sasuke fight that's later on. From now on, till then, Danzo becomes like a recurrent sword to their side in a sense on everything. Name drop every time. But yeah. So Ragnar, are you ready to sing? Raggy. Okay, well, then I'll let Fritz.
Oh.
You have
You killing me, Smalls.
man.
I'm at a loss here.
It's the
Well-
Sasuke versus Itachi fight, basically.
I would say with the sheer amount of quantity that's included in it of stuff that's not only important but was also done well, as much as I dislike Sasuke for different reasons, I would find it hard not to put it in S tier because
Yeah.
like even if you're looking at the tail end, like Naruto decoding the message from Jiraiya, that's when we start to learn. Like that's when he starts to learn, like the sage mode stuff and all that. It's like the introduction to him like going to learn that stuff from the sages. I feel like it's kind of hard to put it below S tier, even if you put it at the bottom of S tier. And then I just find it, as much as we call that the fated battle between two brothers, I call Killer Bee beating up Sasuke the humbling of Sasuke. It's one of my favorite moments in Naruto. Yeah,
Yeah, I like that fight even better.
The
Killer
great,
Bee.
look, that Sharingan ain't all that, bruh.
the great humbling. Just, I will humble you.
Right, and especially because like up until that point, really all we had seen was Jinchurikis getting low diffed by Akatsuki. So it's like nice to see him. It's nice to see there's a couple of them out there that can put up a good fight.
Eight sword style.
Yeah.
Also, just so you know, the decoding the message is basically it goes basically Naruto by that point he's about to go train the sage mode where we get the reveal of it. But also, you think about it, without Naruto, before he goes to a sage mode training is when we realized Naruto was the only one to help them decode the message. Which he found out the real pain isn't there. None of them is the real one.
Oh yeah, and them telling Naruto that Jiraiya is dead, man, heartbreaking moment.
Yeah, heartbreaking moment. I still remember that quote from Hiruka Sensei. You gotta give my respect. But that moment with the ice cream when he says Jiraiya was one of the legendary Sanin, and he recognized you as his most promising student. And I feel like that was so big. That speaks so much volume from Hiruka to say that about him.
Right.
So yeah, I do feel like, and then I like this also because in this arc I reread. Basically, it's where the last thing we know about the sage when he goes to Mount Toad. I forgot the name of it. Is when they try it, they see that the tail beast, the nine tail, is basically pushing back the toads, and that's how basically we don't get any forward afterwards. It goes
Right.
transition to the Taka fight. So I also liked it as well this part because we saw an obstacle. And it was the first time the obstacle was like not removed because he was doing something else. It was literally a different storyline. They went to the Sasuke storyline. So it was kind of it was kind of a douche move in a way, I wanted to see the sage training, but yeah. So yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and put my ranking in, just from the information that you guys are reminding me of. And I'd put it in an A, and I'll let you guys sort out the rest.
Okay. Ragnar, are you back or you're still?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, it's the fated battle between brothers. So it goes from Itachi Sasuke decoding the message of Jiraiya plus the sage introduction training for Naruto, and them going to the village hidden in the clouds, going after Killer Bee.
And Obito explains to Sasuke what happened, right?
Yeah. Also, we get the
Yeah.
flashback of the Shiha. Yeah.
Because that's how
So-
he gets him to join the Akatsuki, right?
Yeah.
All right, so my thing for this is it can't be anything less than an S. It's just one of those things where if it's not an S, it's an A. Because it's not even more about the Sasuke versus Itachi fight, because that fight in the anime is very exhausting. It's more about everything else in between and added to it. Like the Killer Bee versus Sasuke is a ridiculously slept on fight. He completely shot on that man's entire career. He was like, "You thought you were shit, weren't you? You thought you were hot stuff. You know, you're nothing. You can't stand on my pinnacle. Like you can look to where I am, but you can't stand on the same pinnacle I'm at, right?"
It's a real
And then you have
emotional.
And then you have what's it called? Oh, we call it Inferno Control being used for the first time. I think it was
Mhm.
right,
Yeah.
which was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you ask me, I think that I no, I'm gonna change it. I want it to be an A. I think it's an A, but I could understand S. For me, a lot of these arcs are A's, but not really S. And I can completely understand S though. So I would say
Yeah.
A plus, top of A.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna
A. Yeah.
A or S, because I'm gonna say that one of the most best moves that Sasuke did to Itachi, if I'm not mistaken, they were doing their fights with the fire, lightning, and everything, and he used the heat on there to do his I forgot the name of that attack, Korin or something, where it's literally a dragon, a thunder dragon that came from the clouds, and he used the heat that was being propelled everywhere to be able to make it much bigger or something like that. I remember when I was a kid, I remember vividly like reading it and saying, "Damn, this battle is really, really cool, but smart as well." It's not a Dragon
Itachi
Ball.
used that sword, right, to remove the curse mark?
Yeah,
Right.
true, as well. Yeah.
Okay.
One of the things I also found, like, just as I was watching through it, like, right after Sasuke beats Itachi, they're supposed to be kind of like the last two Uchihas. Sasuke runs into the next Uchiha. It's like, bro, you ever gonna be the strongest Uchiha? There's only a couple of y'all. Yeah, as soon as you got rid of the last strongest one, another one popped up that's supposed to have been dead for a really long time. Like, yeah, it's just tough for you. Then they brought Madara back later. It's like, never.
Got big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I really like that. Honestly, it was how can I say that? It was for me one of the most. No, for me it was like I said, it's A. I can understand why people put S. So yeah.
Yeah, I think A is fair.
Yeah, A is fair.
Zabuza's not
Yeah.
alone anymore.
So yeah, and so with that, I'm gonna go up to the next arc, which is most likely. This is for me marks as one of the last great arcs in Naruto Shippuden. Even though there are others, but I just think this one is just goated. The pain assault. I think enough is said about it. We all know what
just
happens
top
in this
two.
arc. Yeah, so I
Which
think it's
one
one of
is
the
it?
best arcs. It's when Pain comes to basically it's the resume of the Taka fight, because apparently it was cut into two parts, but it's mostly the Pain invasion, Naruto versus Pain, the talk with Nagato, and it's basically one of the best moments. I think is the first time that the entire village, but it's Naruto to say the village, but not only that, is that the village recognized him as the hero of the village, the hero of Konoha.
It's one of my few regrets. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say this is like literally the first stepping stone for what he said as a kid. He wanted first to be recognized by the whole village and become Hokage. So he's now being recognized. So it's like not 50%, but at least it's like a bucket list, checked out. You know what I mean? In a way. So yeah, you go ahead, Pete.
Oh, no, that's it. One of my biggest regrets in Naruto is that Naruto brought most of the Leaf Village back because of their past treatment of him. But that's because Naruto's a great guy. But I think the Pain arc overall, like I said, is just top tier. Like they gave you as much emotion as you could handle. You got to see characters like Hinata step up to the plate, Konohamaru. Like, he came through in the clutch, believe it or not. Even before we knew everyone was coming back, like you watch Kakashi just like get buried in the ground and have a nail drove through his head. It's like, man, it's like stuff is really seeming bleak.
Yeah.
And like I said, it was just I think it was very well done, especially to kind of wrap up most of the Akatsuki stuff that we were gonna see. So I think it's S tier.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say it's one of the best entrants. I think one of my favorite entrants in Naruto is literally him arriving after Pain destroys literally the village, and with all the toads and Hinata. I think Hinata, or another guy from the Hyuga clan, who says it's Naruto, and I love just Tsunade saying Naruto, and you can see in her face that she's at the same time she's relieved, but she's also scared for him. You could see that. I think Tsunade's face at that moment is such a crazy moment, and yeah. So obviously, we're talking about the Pain arc. We have to talk about what happens during his fight, which is basically finding out that his father is the fourth Hokage, and getting that part of the story.
Yeah,
I think that's a very big. I think even the way they did it was amazing. The way he pushed Naruto away. You see just number 4. And then we see his face, and you see Naruto's face. We always felt like there was a connection. Like we knew that the hairstyle, there was something similar. But I think that was also the first time we saw him face to face. So yeah. So we are the Pain arc, Ragnar.
Sorry, but I had to make a call. I'm back.
Yeah. So we're the Pain arc. Basically, we were saying that it's definitely a D rank, D tier.
Yeah, I'd say
I'm going with SSF.
Oh my god.
We've been praising it for the last 5 minutes. So yeah, you can go sing your beautiful tune.
The Pain arc was beautiful, but it was the most disappointing arc in the entire series. And not because it was bad, it was because the main character was lacking. Because everybody knows what Naruto did at the end of the Pain arc was the most unrealistic thing ever. He didn't kill everybody else. We all know it should have happened, but it didn't happen.
Ending the cycle of hate, though. Just trying to.
Oh no! The cycle of hate that he had nothing to do with. What did Naruto do but be a good kid? Like, he was a troublemaker, but that's part of being a good kid. Like, you give trouble sometimes. The most Naruto has ever done to that group of villagers was to help protect them. Ever since he was a kid, they did literally nothing for him, and he's been doing nothing but trying to help them. And only when they were all killed and then revived did they had to die first. I want you guys to understand. If you hate a child so much that you have to die first before you realize, maybe we were wrong. You should have stayed dead.
Right. Ragnar, I totally agree. It's an absolute travesty.
So all I'm saying is, if I was Naruto, and I'm glad I'm not him, because I would have done much. I can't say the things I would do on YouTube. So, if I was him,
the end of the Leeds Village.
That would have been the end of the league. No. None of y'all coming back. Bring back Hinata, bring back Tsunade, Konohamaru, Kakashi, all them peoples, but everybody else got to go.
Listen, I'm gonna
Naruto gave his life for that.
Who gave his life for what? Who?
At this point in time, Sakura does not make that list of people coming back.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give some saving grace because I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Obviously, there's a lot of good things, but you did raise some good points. I'm gonna say this. One of the most important, greatest moment is, if I'm not mistaken, we were getting like an insight of some stuff that happened the day that Naruto that they died with Kurama. He did give him a heads up about Tobi. So that I like that we were getting some more information. Like there was someone behind that attack. It wasn't just a simple Kurama losing control of itself. Someone was pulling the strings.
All right.
And when he dropped Madara Uchiha.
Do you guys remember this part? The part where after Naruto saves the village, they said, in hindsight, you guys never saw these scenes, and then they start showing us a bunch of scenes where, hey, that Naruto kid did this. Hey, you heard about Naruto? Like, keep in mind, we've been watching the entire time. We never saw an ounce of those scenes. Meaning,
Yeah.
since we're watching the story through the lens of Naruto, because that's how it's written. That's how we're seeing the story, right? Naruto never heard any of this. He never knew any of that. So far as
And they
I'm
let me.
concerned, Naruto had no reason, none, zilch, nada, no reason whatsoever to save these people. If anything, I would have stayed at the mountain with the frogs.
And who cares how nice the things people are saying about you is behind your back?
Behind my back.
When
Who
they,
gives a shit?
when
Who
you're
cares?
when they're letting you like a little kid live in an apartment by yourself and spoiled milk
And
around,
suffering.
like
starving.
nah.
That was bad.
Right, it's a bad look on all the adults. They should have stayed
Remember that
back.
one time Naruto wanted a mask? Did you
Yeah.
affect this mask, kid? Yeah, no, I can't sell it. Yeah? Because he touched it? Remember that time when Naruto wanted to go to a restaurant? We don't serve you here, get out! The only place he could eat in the entire village was Ichiraku Ramen.
This is why I'm keeping my head canon. I'm pretty sure that old guy, he was related to him, but we never knew. This is my head canon. I don't care if it's true or not. Dude, unnaturally was just nice to him. I said, dude, everybody hated him. He was the only one who like showed tender, and
He
that
just
girl
had
as
some
well.
natural human
You guys
decency.
know
The
this?
rest
No,
of them
you
are
have to understand. You
monsters.
guys forget this. In canon, the entirety of the village knew who Naruto's parents were. Knew that his dad died for the village just like how their loved ones died for the village. The only crime this man committed was being born on the wrong night.
Right. And it's not like his parents were serial killers or anything. It's like they saved all your lives.
Yep.
Bro, I don't care what you said. That village, the Uchiha were right. The Uchiha were right. They needed to wipe them out. But instead of them wiping out the evil people, the Uchiha get wiped out. And if you remember, guys, why did the Uchiha get wiped out? For being discriminated against. They were so discriminated against that they got tired of it. So they wanted to start a war to end the discrimination. So they get wiped out because they were being discriminated against. Now you got Naruto. Even though every person in that entire village knew what his parents gave just so they could live, they decided to hate him so they could feel better about themselves. And they had to die first. I'm going to say this again. They had to die first before they acknowledged him.
I'm gonna say this.
Bro,
I've
they did
always
not
said
deserve
this.
to live.
I've always said this. Every village is fucked up, and I said I understand why the samurais were isolated for so long. There's a reason. We all know. Yes, I agree with all what you just said. Literally, the samurai start to include themselves the moment the five Kage, and they said, well, for once we're gonna jump in with you guys. There's a reason why they never jumped in, you know. So yeah. So after all of this, what is your rating, guys?
Oh, S tier.
I'm still putting it. Yeah, I'm still putting it S tier for me.
Yeah. Great art.
But not
Oh,
just second.
village.
Just
That's
remember.
all I'm saying.
This is the pain.
It
tier,
would have
right?
been God tier if Naruto killed everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying?
This
You
is
know-
this
you
is
know-
pain, right?
Yeah, you know what
Yeah.
makes me laugh so hard is that I think Ragnar. I don't even know if he said this. I think he must have said something positive. I just don't remember. And the guy went all his rant, which I loved, and then he says, "So Ragnar, what's your rating? S tier." It's just funny. It's just funny.
There's a couple of here that are sitting in front of these other guys, like the Battle of Anrakuyo or whatever. It was a part
I
of
think
the
that's
it
later.
was a part of the Fate of Brothers kind of deal.
Oh, was it?
That's what it says when I looked it up. That's what arc it's a part of. This one right here.
Just put
Battle
the
of
touch.
Moonlight Ryuko.
Well, let me look at what I got here.
Yeah. We'll go a little bit during
After
that time.
Itachi pursuit, Pain Assault, and then the right after the Pain Assault is the 5 Kage Summit. So I don't know what this is.
Yeah, this was a part of Sasuke and Itachi.
I'll Google it right now while.
That's when I looked it up, and then I believe Angel said Gaiden came before earlier because it was a flashback of Kakashi.
Yeah, but then we could do Gaiden now because I think we could do Gaiden now. We just did
Chat.
it badly, but yeah.
Don't listen to Cube. I am not literally Madara. I'm more on the side of a Frieza. Saying.
That's not better.
Yeah, I know.
I never
was
said it
just saying.
was.
I know, I'm just saying. We're gonna have to talk about your discrimination at some point, right now.
Yeah, probably we should.
But yeah, I mean, it looks like that's like right before the Sasuke versus Killer Bee stuff. The Battle of Unrayaka or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's from that arc. It's just
Yeah.
for some reason it was
Well, I mean, I
separate.
guess it goes next to it.
Is Gaiden the flashback with Kakashi and Obito?
Yes. In a way.
So that would be right before the fourth Great Ninja War, wouldn't it?
No, that's like after that's started. That's like before the Kaguya stuff.
I know what it is. Oh, okay, because that's the Japanese
Kakashi
version.
and Obito
The
don't
English
fight
version is basically, if I'm not mistaken,
I mean, it's the
Yeah,
name of an
it's-
episode. If you look on
it's basically the Taka fight. It's just that's the name of the thing. Unraki no Takyaka. It's basically the place. Yeah, Battle of Unraki. Yeah, it's basically eight tails versus Sasuke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the
I
Japanese.
think you
version.
put it there with it.
Yeah, I think you could put it there.
So what? The Kage Summit is the one that comes next, right?
Well, let's do the Gaiden, Kakashi Gaiden, then we can we can go to the
Isn't
rest.
that after?
No,
Right
apparently Angel said it's before. It was a flashback that was before. Just it
What?
didn't appear. Yeah. On two guys, we could start by Kakashi Gaiden or 5 Kage Summit, regardless of it. You guys, dealer's choice. You guys have any preference?
No, this is where Naruto starts going downhill. So that we all know what's happening here.
Yeah.
No, the 5 Kage Summit was lit.
No, that's what I'm saying. This is where it starts going downhill. So everything that was S before, it's gonna be A, then B, then C. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just not happy with the ending, huh?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm not
So-
happy with the ending. I'm happy it ended.
Yeah.
So I think let's just do the Kakashi Gaiden one because pretty soon we're gonna get into the whole Toby/Obito situation. So it's kind of good to grade at least that one already. So it's basically Team Minato with Kakashi, Rin, and Obito, and it's basically the whole storyline of what happened to Obito, Kakashi's involvement in Rin's. I'm sorry, Kakashi murdered Rin in my eyes. That's how I see it. But he has to be seen as a good guy.
Q is trolling, chat. Q is trolling.
Murder is going roam free, Kakashi. But anyways, that's basically the arc. So what is your guys' take on this flashback? I really liked it, honestly,
It's
because
a great flashback.
it's a great flashback because, like I said, if you look at the first survival training with Team 7, everything that Kakashi says, it connects so much into that flashback. Someone who abandons a mission is a scumbag, but someone who abandons his friend is a bigger scumbag. All those stuff, teamwork, all of it, And you realize all the stuff he was saying to Sasuke was about himself, thinking that you were superior to the others, so you don't need them, And then the whole thing about the whole what happened to Rin, when he says he holds Sasuke hostage, and he says to Sakura, "Kill Naruto now." It's literally this. That's why I love this flashback. So, for me, it'll always be an S tier, but that's just me. So I'll let you guys spit your fire.
I think it's an A tier. I think it's a good flashback. And, it's obviously very important to the story. I don't think you see anything that crazy, except for we get to see a little bit more of the fourth Hokage. And obviously kind of how Kakashi gets his Sharingan. So I think it's high quality, but I have it at a tier.
How he became the copy ninja too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's his
Birthday gift, I
origin
think
there.
you said it was.
Yeah. No, not true. That's when he becomes a cop. It's such an amazing flashback. So yeah. So anything more about this?
Quality
Anyway,
arc.
I don't.
Me, myself. I don't
So you said
remember the
B.
whole thing too well, but
So
A.
3-Day, you said B. An A. Pete said an A. Ragnar. Fritz.
I would I would give it a low A, a high B.
Now I would agree to drop it to from my S to an A. Ragnar, do you have any counter?
Counter to let me see. While we're looking at Gaiden,
Yeah.
I think it's at best A and at lowest B. It's good. It's not bad in any way whatsoever, but it's not great in any shape or form.
Mm-hmm.
It's just good. It's not decent either. It's just good. Like it's through and through just good. There's not really any lows. If anything, you have a lot more. You get attached to the character of Obito really quickly,
Yeah.
and it's not because he reminds you of Naruto. It's just that Obito is genuinely really likable. Right? He doesn't need to shout or be extra like a lot of people do, but he's very relatable as a character. He feels like a normal dude trying to be a good guy in a world that everybody thinks he's not worth it. So it's just a likable thing. Rin
explains-
was overly. Rin was too pure to be a real person, so she was not relatable at all. And Kakashi made sense. That's about it. It's a good flashback. It's not amazing, but it's good. So A at best, B seems solid.
I think an A is a good idea. It's a good thing because I think, like I said, it's a great foundation from how Kakashi was introduced. I feel like the way Kakashi was introduced, his flashback made so much sense. It answered so much stuff that was, mysterious.
So we landed it in an A.
Yeah. And I also like the fact that if you think about it, Kakashi is basically when he meets the team, it's Kakashi. Basically, it's like if Naruto, it's like if Naruto and Sasuke were the only ones who survived because Minato's dead, Ren is dead, and for him Obito is dead. So when you remember him not giving any answers, literally the guy has no one else to share. So all of his best friends were gone in a way. So yeah, really love this flashback. So the next arc is pretty the Kage Summit, and I'll let Pete jump into that one to sort it out.
Oh, I mean, I love the five Kage Summit because you get Toby kind of making his big debut to the world. Saying, "Hey, let's fight," basically, and kind of kicking off the war.
Just
Again.
Pete, I don't know if it's just me. I think your sound got a bit low. I don't know why. I have a hard.
Oh wait, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, now we can hear you well. Now we hear you perfectly, bro.
Great. But yeah, I think the five Kage Summit is great because it's kind of Toby's like coming out to the war, declaration of war. And again, I love great humblings of Sasuke and the other Raikage. Gave another dose of the Sharingan's cool, but it ain't all that. I love that he just like when he hit him with the Amaterasu, he just kind of cut his arm off, like nothing else. Like this isn't even an issue. Who needs two arms? I also just thought, I'm a huge fan of the Cloud Village in general, so it was nice to see a good showing there. But I thought just the fights overall taking place, we got to see samurai for the first time in a show about ninjas, so I thought that was kind of cool. And then you get kind of that dramatic stuff with Naruto and the gang trying to catch up to the Raikage before the summit starts and, beg for Sasuke's forgiveness or whatever. Is that the arc where oh no, maybe that's after where the two the younger kids from the Cloud Village go like the girl tries to beat up Sasuke or Naruto.
No, I think that is when, if I'm not mistaken.
Was that the fourth grade war?
No, it's before the Great Shinobi War. I think it is, because remember of it. They came They beat him up. They realize that Sasuke has become an international criminal, and that's when Naruto
Oh, and
decides
that's
to
when they
leave.
left.
Yeah, and just before that, I'll just hint at it's basically Kakashi and Naruto talking about Minato, and that goes down, and then they leave all with Yamato, all three of them, for yeah. So that's how it goes. So
But yeah, that was a big respect moment for Naruto because different idea of a kind of similar circumstance. When what's it called, Luffy was getting beat up by Bellamy in that bar. It's like not all fights. You fight even if the person's kind of mad. So I thought overall it was a pretty good arc. So I'd maybe put it at like a high B, maybe an A. But
So yeah. Well, for me, don't have too much to add on it. The part I liked a lot. I did like meeting the different Kages with the receptive, bodyguards. And we did get some more. I did like the idea of more Gekai, and if I'm mistaken, we were introduced for the first time as Kekedota, the Tota dot Gekai or whatever it is, when it's three nature with the old geezer from the Rock. I forgot the Rock Village. Forgot what's the name of his title. I really like that, and I'm gonna say this: one of my favorite scenes is Zetsu pulling out and just screaming, "Sasuke's in the building." That was for me one. That was such a funny moment. Among Kages, in the middle of them, Zetsu just appears out of nowhere, screams that Sasuke's in the building. Then you hear the right Kage just losing it, like the ultimate disrespect. Not only did they pull up, but they did it in a way that was such disrespectful. So yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
I would say that this arc is just easy A, right? That's for me. You see Sasuke is in Susanoo, willing to sacrifice his future for this. We get the Danzo fight here. Come on.
Really?
Yes, it's true.
Oh, is the Donzo fighting?
Yeah,
Yes,
because
it
it's
is.
up to before the war, basically. But then the
Yeah.
next thing is the fourth
I'll
ninja
change
war.
it to I'll change it to an 8. The Donzo fight.
You
Yeah.
even get the scene where Sakura tries to meet Sasuke by herself and almost gets her head chopped off.
Oh,
Naruto pulls up, and I think this is the first time since they fought as children where they did the thing where they, how they always talk about how they communicate through battling.
Yeah.
That was the
Right.
first time we've seen it in years at that point. When we got to this point, it had been years since they last quote unquote communicated, right? So yeah, this entire arc was just
Also,
like a throwback.
now also there was one of the cringiest moments in this arc, and that was Sakura's fake "I love you" to Naruto.
No.
Made
We don't
me
talk about that. We don't talk about
made
that.
me
We
throw
don't
up
talk
in
about
my
that.
mouth a little bit. Sakura stocks at an all-time low at that point. Like it's
We
just
don't talk about that, bro. That didn't happen.
no. We got to talk about it because it was just cringe and
Moment never
terrible.
existed.
Right. It's,
Lucian.
if only I could forget that just terrible display of character that was Sakura. Ugh.
B.
B. Even with the Danzo fight?
Yeah, even the Danzo fight, even with Sasuke basically pulling up on all the Kage by himself, which we have not seen being replicated by anybody else but Madara.
Not
He
even
didn't
that,
pull it
dude.
by
What
himself. He
Donzo
had his
did
boys
with
with him.
the thing with the 10 eyes, the shark. I forgot the name of that move. That was such a crazy move. And I'm gonna give this, and we got one of the coldest exit for any Kage in the arc, the flashback of Danzo, when Tobirama basically says, "Hiruzen, tomorrow you'll become the Hokage. I'm going to basically be the what's it called, the bait," and literally saying, "I don't care if I die." And he literally said, "Tomorrow you'll be Kage," meaning that I am going to be a bait until I die. And I thought that was like such. I have my issues of obviously to Tobirama later on in the story, but I thought that was such a cool moment. Like for me, it's similar to how Kurapika in Hunter x Hunter came with a shovel to his battle.
I'll give you an A.
It's such a cool moment.
You
Hey,
guys,
Fritz is a hard sell, man.
No. Don't get me twisted. B isn't. It's not inaccurate, but I think it's good enough to deserve an A. If you look at us, what's in the A bracket, it's not losing to any of these by
No.
a large margin, but it's definitely beating what's in B. That's what I'm saying.
And
That's I think that's where it's at.
here's what I'll say, just in defense of it, of outside the fights. It shed some light on parts of the world outside of the Leaf Village that we hadn't really considered. Like the dude that had the Byakugan. It's like, oh yeah, they didn't like the Village didn't just like casually sweep everybody that they fought. Like there's people out there that are like truly like strong and stronger than people in the Leaf Village though. Because like up until this point, like the impression that we get is like, man, you can mess with these other dudes, but not the Leaf Village. Like, you know,
Ooh.
even though they get messed with all the time. But like that was kind of like the vibe they were giving off. But like so you see the dude that has the Byakugan because he killed somebody from the Hyuga clan or whatever. You see the Raikage, you know, even the Mizukage's very, you know, she got the lava thing, and that's you know, so different from a lot of the stuff that we've seen up until that point, and even up until the Danzo fight. Like they actually expand upon the Anbu Black Ops, who were like supposed to be this like elite force up until this point, and outside of what's his name, Yamato and Sai, they've basically been fodder. Like every time we've seen the Anbu fight, they just get beat up bad. So it's like this was when we actually got to see some expansion and some delving into parts of the Naruto world that were supposed to be, you know, elite.
See, it's not as that. We have to think about this was the introduction of the samurai, and this is also the introduction of some of the Kage that we haven't met yet, as in
Right.
at least in depth.
The
And
Declaration of War.
this was yes, because of war. Right? And if you put it
As
into
well as
perspective,
future Kage.
what Sasuke was able to accomplish as like a rogue ninja is so unprecedented in the world. Like he took the arm of one of the five Kage at a five Kage summit when they were surrounded by their most trusted Jonin aides. Right? He's not like some random ninja coming together for a meeting and then some random snuck in and took one of their arms. Bro, Sasuke pulled up on the strongest people in verse. That's what happened. He pulled up on the strongest people in verse.
Now,
And
to be
said,
fair,
fight back.
Sasuke didn't necessarily pull up with the most ragtag bunch. Like he pulled up with like
No, he didn't.
one of Orochimaru's best inventions, Toby.
Yep.
One of the dudes that's like fighting with the seven ninja swordsmen of the mist, using Zabu's broken blade
much.
and like stuff like that. Like he didn't just pull up
Suigetsu.
with he didn't just pull up with a couple random guys. Like he pulled like in this full on assault. While he did have his fight with the Raikage, and that was impressive. Like I said, if he didn't have inextinguishable fire, he ain't taking nothing off the Raikage. Like it wasn't like his moveset that took it off of him. It was just you got that really cool skill that just happened to be broken. So as much as it was cool for him, I was just like, you know, Sasuke had some help to be pulling up there. It was definitely unprecedented, but it was far from alone.
Didn't Obito convince them that he was Madara there too, and
Right.
forced them to align the nations for the First Great Ninja War?
Oh, they were shook as soon as he said that name. Like Voldemort.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna say this. It was one of the best. I'm gonna say this. I'm sorry. It is one of the best. What's called reverse psychology. You know, mental game I've ever seen. I think the only time I've seen that kind of level of master planning, tricking people into that is Hunter x Hunter level type of situation. You know what I mean? It's like it was top tier. So yeah.
So
And I think it's
everybody's in agreement then?
Yep, I think so.
Final four. Oh my god. Some good stuff here.
Yep. And so basically for everyone that are on the stream like this, we didn't want to do the whole hassle, so the fourth Ninja War is all in one, which is easier. to rate it. So I guess we can rate it overall. Then it goes to the 10 Tails Jinchuriki part. Then Kagura returning, and then the beginning of Kagura returning and the Seal reconciliation, basically Naruto and Sasuke fight. So that's how it's going to be the last the last 4 ones. So we'll start with the Great Ninja Shinobi War. Okay, I'm gonna let other people go because I am very vocal on how there are a lot of stuff I don't like about this war. So I would let other people say more positive stuff before I go.
I think it's a truly underrated arc. It's not about to say, hey, oh, this is S tier. But I thought it was great. I thought it was great to see a lot of different aspects of things outside of Leaf Village in the Naruto world. Like, as lackluster as some moments may have been, like, they covered a lot of ground with like a little bit of space with the Shinobi War in terms of like minor characters. Even Tintin got a moment to shine, and Tintin never gets a moment to shine. So
it's true.
Like, I can appreciate that aspect of it. It touched on some like pieces of lore, outside of someone being the Hokage or the great enemy of the Hokage, like the twins that they had, like those blonde-haired twins or whatever. Like I said, it showed you like there were people like oh no, they killed the second Hokage. It's like, wait, what? Someone because like I say, at this point, the way we've heard about all these people from the Leaf Village is that they're basically indomitable forces. Like, nobody can stop them. And like this showed us, like, no, there were other people that are like also threats to them or just generally talented, like outside the Leaf Village. And like, you even get to see some of the people that end up replacing the current Kages as the next Kages, later in the story, and kind of part of their coming up through, the last Great War. So I'm a fan of it. Personally, I put it at a B. But I think it gets ragged on a lot, but I don't think it's all that bad. Plus, Madara beating them all up is fantastic.
Where does this arc? It's not the entire rest of the series, right? Where does it start and end?
It's basically the start of the war up until the 10 Tails Jinchuriki, basically Obito then Madara happened. So it's like, just think of all the fight before Obito becomes a 10 Tails Jinchuriki.
Okay. Well, starting off, Gaara's speech, everybody at first was all still hating on each other in the alliance, and then when he talks, that just got me for some reason. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and that was Gaara coming out of his shell like we've never seen before, and it was a good speech.
And him facing his father and him, I don't know, that just all got me. I think it's underrated too.
Like, I think a lot of the, revived characters that we got outside of the Hokages that were revived, so interesting. Like 3-Day said, Gaara's dad, like, he's manipulating gold, like on the same level like Gaara's manipulating sand. Like, hold up, what?
Not even that. He learned it to be able to control Gaara. That's how crazy. I really like that part. Yeah, it's crazy.
Right. The other guy that used that was I can't remember his name, but the other guy that used like the style that had to do with like gravity and all that.
My gravity.
What was his name? The short old dude, the fence sitter dude. Is he the same style he used?
The Kage, the old Kage with the dust, whatever it was.
Right.
Who can fly? Who can fly? Right.
Yeah, like I said, I thought that was another interesting interaction that we got out of that, and even the first Raikage or whatever that they brought back.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I love the plot twist of that one. His armor was only wounded because he's the one who wounded himself.
Who was the one that used the illusions and the clamshell?
I think it was the second Mizukage.
Right.
It's the second Mizukage. He was known to have the most powerful genjutsu before the Kekkei Genkais were like the Sharingan.
Yeah. And the fact that him and the other dude were still like arguing, like even like after they come back as zombies, it's like it was a nice little comic relief moment.
Also, I like this. they were obliged to attack them, but they could still talk. So I really liked how basically the former Kages were telling them how to defeat them, and they were getting annoyed because they were just too powerful for them. That's what
Right.
really killed me. That was so funny. They were getting annoyed that they were just too strong for them. It's like we never had that. So yeah. So I'm gonna say something now. I'm gonna jump in to tell you guys that. Okay, my whole thing is this. I really like I do like the war, but the problem is Ragnar has already told me there are a lot of stuff that happened, especially what happens to Neji. If I'm not mistaken, that happens. Yeah, that happens before Obito becomes the Tenshin Jinchuriki, and the whole bringing out the Shunin exam Genins back in action to have them be fathers 2 seconds away. So I just didn't like how some stuff. But other than that, overall, I really like the arc. And I won't lie, one of my favorite parts was, you guys talked about it, was Gaara and his father, in which we all always had the idea of his father, how he was, but then at the end you realize his father is seeing and then you could see in his eyes just before he left that he was telling him he's happy that he found some people to be around with. And I really like that thing. It's like, for me, it was the end of Gaara's storyline in a way, because it was introduced as his father being a tyrant, never loving him, but then you realize his father only saw him as a monster. And the moment he realized that there was more to him, you saw like a friendlier side to him. And again, I know Ragnar is gonna say yes, but the father should have unconditional love to his son, stuff like that. I know, but I just liked it. For Gar at least he had peace of mind. Oh, yeah, and Neji will never forgive what
For
they did to
one,
Neji.
I don't believe that, but I'm gonna let you slide on that.
Hey, listen, let's agree to disagree, my brother. So, yeah, I'm
I
done.
don't know
Anyways,
how
you
I
can
I'm
feel
gonna
you.
let
about
the
the Shinobi
professionals
War.
hash the
For the
rest of this
Shinobi
out.
War, there's a lot that happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really know how I feel about the Shinobi War. I just know that I liked it, but I also didn't like it. So for me, the entire don't get me wrong, the peaks are the peaks for the
yeah,
Shinobi War. They peak, you know what I'm saying? Gaara's speech, like 3D mentioned, Madara versus Shinobi Alliance, golden. You know what I'm saying? You have the return of Zabuza and Haku,
oh
Itachi's
yes,
return, the entire thing there, right? These are all golden moments. But like, oh, Pete mentioned earlier the two dudes that were stuck inside that gourd that killed Toby. So you saw Ino Shikacho for the first time in centuries. I don't know, right? So don't get me twisted. There's some good moments, right? There's a lot of
Even
good moments
Sheena
actually,
took
but
care of the
it's a lot of
poison
good
bug.
moments because of how long. Yes, I completely forgot about that too,
yeah. She
right?
knows always been okay. You have a question from
Shino
Den
comes
Den.
out with saying what?
Ragnar, what's your Neji take?
Oh my God.
It should have
Remember
been
when I was
Lee.
saying the reason we're so disappointed with Shippuden is because of how good the original Naruto is, specifically the tuning exams. That the tuning exam built these characters up for so much greatness.
Yeah.
Neji being one of them, right?
Hmm. Yep.
So like I said, the Shinobi War has a lot of great points. And I'm just gonna say this to be fair, the Neji death I think happens after Ten Tails, so we wouldn't be
Mhm.
talking about that yet, but we can get to it
Right.
afterwards. But there's a lot of great points in the Shinobi War, but there's also a lot of lows, and most of the lows were below average. Like other than those hype moments in the Shinobi War, there was a lot of that dragged on for like like a lot of things that weren't necessary. Like the whole thing with Kisame's body going in all these different directions, doing all these. Why? Why? You know what I'm saying? Oh my God.
Well,
All I'm
so
saying
here's
is
my thing with that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no. I'm just saying it's not just that part. There's like a lot of the fights that they were flashing back to in the Shinobi War were unnecessary. I could understand some of these scenes where they were trying to display how powerful Naruto has gotten now that he has been able to work with his tail beast, so he spreads his clones everywhere. But they had to before Naruto did that, they showed all of those different all those different fights everywhere for too long. There was too much of those mini fights that didn't really matter in the grand scheme. You know what I'm saying? So it's in
Well,
my
that
opinion, the Shinobi War was a really good L. It's a really good L. Like it's an L that's a bit tilted. So if you just put another L, it would be a W, but it's not really a W. It's just a tilted L. You know what I'm saying? So I would give this a B in my opinion, A at best.
I think it's a little harsh on those smaller fights because at this point that we're at in the story, uh, we're not really going to get too much of another chance to see like most of these characters do anything. And so, they kind of ran the gamut with characters that we had from the Chunin exams, but then also expanded it to like characters like from outside the Leaf Village, like Darui when he was fighting those what's it called, twins that got stuck in the gourd and all that stuff. He's the one who put him in the gourd, basically. And like that whole Black Lightning thing he was doing, like that, all that, like that's all cool stuff that we've never seen. That's completely different from, the styles we saw from the Leaf Village, and we got to expand upon that in like different ways. We actually got to see all the seven ninja swordsmen of the mist that they've been talking about all series. Like we actually got to see like the OG group get revived, like the weapons they had, like the abilities they had, like so it wasn't just rumors anymore. It's like it was like I said, it was a chance to expand upon stuff that we're not going to have a chance to expand on later because I don't think at this point they're thinking about Boruto or whatever, and Boruto's not going to cover stuff that's cool because it sucks. So this is a great time. To kind of cover the points that we wanted to touch on. I'd say even 10-10 got some shine. And 10-10 got no shine. I say I know the Neji death is in the next thing, but all I'll say for that is it should have been Lee. Yeah, it should have been Lee.
Din Din in the chat says to Ragnar, they used him just to eat fodder. But yeah, it's a spicy L, and he agrees a B for the arc.
Yeah. So this is my score for the entire arc. I will put a B, even though it's between a C and a B. And it's just like Ragnar said and Pete said, there's a lot of good stuff, but I think I would agree on Ragnar on the point where it's just, for me it's like this. It goes up and down, up and down. When it's peak, it is really peak. But then when it's not peak, there's just stuff where you're just watching and there are moments you're happy, then you're not happy, then it's like it's a roller coaster at some points. But when it's peak, it's really peak. So I would agree. I think that's the only reason why people kept reading and finishing it, because there was still some great moment and we're just striving, hoping that it was just a bad spell. You know what I mean?
Like
So for me,
Shikamaru had to fight Asuma.
Yeah, like the sorry?
I said Shikamaru had to fight Asuma. Like that was like crazy stuff was going on around the whole place.
Yeah.
What's it called? At that point, don't we get Shikamaru and Ino's dads dying in this part too, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. Gotta be an A.
3-Day also gives it a B in the chat.
But just to be clear, this is why I said it has peaks. You're just talking about the peaks, bro. You see what I'm saying?
Even the smaller
These are just
moments.
the peaks.
Like I said, the Shikamaru and the Asuma stuff's a smaller moment.
I don't consider Shikamaru and Asuma a smaller moment. I told you, Asuma is my favorite character, so for me, that would be a peak.
Yeah, I don't think the lows are that low. I don't know what you guys are calling the lows.
It's all right.
Okay, what I was calling the lows were the unnecessary bits they showed for all the smaller fights. Like, even though I was happy, extremely happy to see what's his name, Zabuza and Haku combat, I didn't need to see that fight for that long. Even though I was happy, extremely happy to see Itachi come back, I didn't need to see that fight for that long. And even though I was happy, and you know what I'm saying, a lot of this stuff, they was dragged out more than it needed to be. That's what I'm saying. We can't forget why Shippuden started to fall off in that time. I haven't even mentioned filler. I'm talking about what actually happened during the important parts. Some of it just went on for too long. It didn't need to be that way.
Yeah.
And overall, we agree then? We disagree?
I think B. Like I said, I think B's fine. I just lean more towards A because I like some of those lows. You guys just aren't
Yeah.
true
B's
Naruto
fine,
fan.
but there's more ambition. I got you.
Okay, B.
I'm just kidding.
No, no worries, man. No, but then again, I do understand there are some parts, and then I think it's just because it affected the core characters that I really like. So
All right. The stuff with Sheen, man. I actually, now the more I think about it, I love that arc. Actually, the stuff with Shino, like all the guys got good stuff.
So, well, basically now it's the birth of the 10-tailed beast, and I'm just quickly gonna go to get the quick synopsis. So, what happened in this arc? So it's basically Obito. So it's all about the will of the shinobi, Obito's last stand. So it's the whole what Obito did, the revival of Madara Uchiha. So it's basically Madara. I think they're trying to break the Edo Tensei at that point. And Madara not only is able to return, but he's also able to go take the eye of Obito. So becoming Sage Madara. And it's basically him trying to get the tail beast and basically trying to launch Infinity Dream. And it's just before Zetsu pulls his I'm sorry, it's one of the saltiest moves that has ever happened in everything. But yeah, that's basically that. I don't even repeat what Zetsu did to Madara. But
So that includes Madara versus Mike Guy, right?
If I'm not mistaken, yep. Because
This
if I'm not mistaken,
includes when Sakura actually comes back as in the team and Team 7 is reunited and everything. This is, to me,
yeah.
The people might exaggerate. I'll just say my point right now. Look, for me, this right here is an example of one of the only S's at the end of the series. The only one, right? I can understand if you guys swing more towards A, but for me, the reuniting of Team 7, Sakura showing her worth, talking about her inferiority complex when she's being compared to the other two gods in her group, right? Sasuke being revived from death, right? You see 100 healing arts. Come on, bro.
Dude, there's also the Sage. Think of it. It's
all of
that
this
moment. The Sage as well.
Yes.
Yo,
yes.
Mike Guy versus Madara
Yes.
alone puts us in S tier.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
versus Madara.
I can agree to that.
Yes. Come on.
This is the part of the war.
There's a lot. Minato and Naruto standing next to each other. One using the Nin Nine Tails, the other one using the Yang Nine Tails. Bro, some of these scenes that we saw in this last bit right here for when Madara was around was some of the peak of the entirety of the series, right? When you saw Team 7 go against like an Naruto giving a cloak to everybody in the battlefield, reviving their morale, and like, bro, peak.
Right.
Oh,
let me tell y'all.
There's one downside.
Oh, sorry. What was the downside?
I was saying that's the one downside of this arc. Neji died. Just didn't make
True.
sense. He died in the most absolutely disrespectful way possible.
That was the only thing. Is like I thought. So what I thought would have been much better is if Neji doesn't die there and Rock Lee fights with my guy and dies. It would have been great, in my opinion, for the story, because he would have, got to fight with his master, and they can push Madara to the edge. Because I'll be like, either way, they're not going to beat Madara, but would have been a great moment. Double 8 gates. Naruto tries to save them both, but he can only get Guy to come back. It's like, just raise the stakes up a little bit. Plus, Lee doesn't. Once we're past this, Lee I think has much less potential growth than Neji. If you're thinking about stuff that may happen after this, just due to his injuries, which is unfortunate. But either way, my guy is the Chadliest of Chads, only contested by Escanor, and so like I said, that fight alone puts it in S tier, just because I'm a huge Mike Guy fan. But I think overall, like when you're looking at like the fight with the 10 tails and all that, again, like as cool as the fights are, I also like to look at.
I must point this out as well, Pete. In case you guys forgot, this is where Obito and Kakashi fight as well.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. That the fights, like I said, are great in this arc, and that's part of the reason why I think it's S tier. But also, again, just like the expansion of the Naruto lore, like as many complaints as we get for the ending of Naruto frequently. One thing I do appreciate him for doing before the series ended was like putting a button on a good amount of stuff, like a good amount of questions that were kind of lingering throughout the series, even if they were minor questions, like stuff about the other tailed beasts, stuff about the other Gene Chirikis. Like, even though he's not going into full backstories on all of them, and yes, we didn't need the infinite Tsukuyomi thing, sure, but overall, like, he did his best to really fill in a lot of the gaps and questions that we had. In terms of as many characters as he could, as many different parts of the world overall. Like I said, not just looking at the Leaf Village and the main characters. So I also appreciated that about this arc.
3-day, just so you know, and that was the previous part with the Orochimaru raising the Hokage, stuff like that. It's basically before Sasuke comes in the battle. Because I started writing that in the chat. She was questioning. That's a question. So yeah. I'm gonna say this. I really like
stuff like Itachi, Sasuke, Kabuto. I know the Orochimaru races them. All that is from the Great War, fourth Great Ninja War part before the Ten Tails. All that happens before.
Yeah.
Right, which is why I'm saying it's not that bad, guys.
Yeah. No. Like I said, and I'm gonna say this is my favorite part. And like I said, not a fan of the whole prophecy thing, but I did like the whole them meeting this, and I like the whole sage. The fact that he was speaking two different styles. A style that Naruto would comprehend, and a style that Sasuke went on to comprehend. I did like that that made the difference between him and everybody else. Like, he was literally like the god of shinobis in a way. I really like the interactions. Yeah, and then obviously it ends with the Zetsu stuff.
Yeah. I think we give a little bit too much of a knock on the prophecy stuff, considering how much we like it and other stuff. And it's not like it did make sense within like the Naruto story. Like, not to keep bringing One Piece into this stuff, but Luffy, was tied to, prophecies, at least to some extent, as far as we've seen, without getting into any specifics or anything like that. And we're all cool with that. And like the emu stuff like that. So I feel like sometimes we might give Naruto a little too much flack on the child of prophecy stuff, when it's not like they were trying to hide it.
Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself, Pete. Which one you think wrote it better?
Well, one's not completed, so we'll see.
Well, no. So far, even without it being complete, which one do you think wrote it better?
That's what I'm saying. It's not a fair comparison, because he could totally fumble the back end of this whole problem.
Stop giving me your PC answers, Pete. So far, this is what I said. So far, which one you think wrote it better?
Just the prophecy.
Just the whole idea of fate being involved with it.
It's an easy win.
It's not really a hard question to answer.
Hey, I like the Naruto. That's not the part I dislike about Naruto. So I'm not trying to hear y'all's.
That's my point. The reason why people don't like it in Naruto is because it's not written well. That's the truth. It's not. Nobody has a problem with prophecy. No one does, because it was prophesized that one day Frieza would be defeated by a Saiyan. It was prophesized. You know what I'm saying? It was prophesized that they would take over the demon world, who's a descendant of that Yu Hakusho. It was prophesized.
Right,
so
but nobody
has a problem with the prophecy
in Naruto. That's what I'm saying. If I'm comparing the two, I have no issue with either.
Okay, this is my thing.
The problem isn't the prophecy; it's how it's written.
I know.
How it's carried out. The story at the beginning did not seem to follow that. The story at the beginning of Naruto did not seem to be trying to be written toward a certain direction that it ended in.
What do you have to say, Q?
Okay.
Wait, I think he's still talking.
Oh,
Ragnar, your voice is...
That's the problem.
Ragnar, you're cutting in and out.
Oh, I am?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you anymore.
One displays how the prophecies work in a much more vivid way in comparison to the other, which is why people had a problem. It felt almost as if it was being ushered into the story, and of course, avid fans, avid readers details here and there, but that's the problem here. If you can only point out small details here and there, it's not clear enough for the average fan of the story, which makes the entire point of the story unclear, since we know later on in Naruto it's the main point of the story. The difference is, from the beginning of other stories, you understand that these characters are in some way special, in some way different, in some way shouldn't be in the way they are. But then it's not because of this thing, it's because of that thing. And when do we find that out? Halfway through the story. Doesn't make any sense. That's the problem. That's the main problem people have with it.
Okay, I'm gonna go jump in as immediately after with this. My whole thing with the prophecy thing is, it doesn't bother me what Ragnar says. Actually, what bothers me is, the one thing that bothers me is the boost after they made the sage, and then the whole Kaguya thing and the reincarnation. That's the one part in which, and I think it's connected to Kaguya lore, if it was introduced in the story early on, much better, I would have loved it. It would be much more sense. Or the best example is, we're getting a lot about Luffy being special, then we realize all those moments that Luffy was ever. Sorry, for the example is, every time they show snippets, and I did like with Naruto, they did talk about the stuff that he got from his parents. That then when you met his mother and father, you said, oh, okay, Naruto is like that. I just felt like that aspect of the prophecy, they jumped the gun, and it was literally one after the other. That part is by the end. That's just the end of the prophecy that bothers me, not the full one. I was 100% behind it up until that moment.
Right, and that's what I was getting at. Actually, the Kaguya stuff is not what I'm defending. I'm just saying Naruto and Sasuke being children of prophecy, I think was set up a long time ago and executed just fine. Now the stuff following that,
yeah,
is questionable at best. But that stuff I didn't have a problem with. That's the part I was talking about. Hey, I have no defense for the hey. Look,
yeah.
like I said, I'm not defending.
For your answer, 3-Day, yes, it does include the Ten Tails destroying the headquarters. It's everything, including the Ten Tails, basically like pulling
so
up to the battlefield.
Ino and Shikamaru's dad dying is a part of this one. Okay.
A part of the Ten Tails one, yes.
Okay.
Are you guys all blazing on this being one of the last of the top tiers, or how do you feel?
I'm cool with S tier.
I think it's fair to say this is probably the last S tier of the series.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's only two more arcs after this.
Yeah. Then there's a Kaguya,
Yeah.
and then basically the most important fight we wanted to see.
This is a top heavy list, but at the same time, this is probably one of the besides like people being avid One Piece fans and OG fans of other series, this one is an OG that has everything that makes everything else you love special,
Right, and for the record, like with Naruto, because I guess I wasn't on here when the show started. Like I was watching Naruto as a dedication before I even started One Piece. I love Naruto, so I've watched it through like 7 times, sub and dub, read the manga. Like it's one of my favorites. Which is why I have a small defense for this next arc that I'll bring up later, but only a small one.
I specifically watch dubbed with subs because I don't want to miss the finer points that might have been translated, but kind of rewrote in the English.
Yeah.
I'm always reading the same time as I'm watching dub, so I'm always trying to figure out, are there hidden meanings somewhere that you just wouldn't normally get?
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and listen, for the 2 next one, I think Pete, because I won't lie, the 2 next one is a bit fuzzy for me because that's like the part where when I do my rewatch,
Yeah,
I go through it very fast. So since I think you watch it more than me, I'll let you lead those 2 last arcs, so I guess you can explain them better and the difference and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, if we're talking about the Kaguya one is next, so
from A to Z Kaguya only. Yeah.
It's after they go through their little moment of transcendence with the sage, and they kind of go into the Kaguya fight. We also see Kakashi, kind of make full use of the
he's got what the Renegon and the Sharingan at that time, and so they kind of the old Team Seven gets into it with Kaguya. We kind of get a resolution. She's mother of all chakra and all that stuff. So, I don't think this was the most expertly done ending. To say the least. The one redeeming moment of this ending, in my opinion, is once they've actually kind of resolved. Because the Infinite Tsukuyomi is in this too, I believe. Like all those bad flashbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that, I would rather just not even discuss that that abject garbage that we were put through.
I love that.
And it's really not even. It's just I think everyone agrees it was bad. And like the only redeeming part I would say for the ending of this is one, getting the Team Seven reunion. That was just cool. Like as far as ending up the Kaguya fight, but the moment when the kind of the dead Hokages are kind of going back and like everything's kind of going back before Sasuke and Naruto get into their thing, and you get what's it called, Naruto saying his goodbye to his dad as he like floats up into the air and he's like telling him all this stuff to tell his mom. Man, I was boo-hooing. It was.
I agree. Same.
I was so sad and happy at the same time. Just watching that, because like I said, I'm very invested in Naruto, and my favorite, and as corny as it may be, Naruto is my favorite character in Naruto. So like seeing like just the end of this, like this resolution, like him giving his saying everything he never got to say to his parents. His dad's on the way out. I'm just like, my man's has made it. We're doing good, and I can't tell you how mad I was that Sasuke wanted to fight after that. But we we can talk about that next. This one, I'd say the most generous evaluation of it would put it at a B. If we could just separate that one moment with Naruto and his dad, that would be S tier. I just don't think it's enough to outweigh the trash that is the Infinite Tsukuyomi. So it's probably a C, but maybe a B in my opinion.
And there's something I realized, and Pete, you could tell me, because I always thought when I did a rewatch a few months ago, that at the end, because I can't remember Naruto his at the beginning, it kind of made me feel like, if you remember his introduction when Team 7, he only talked about ramen, right? Nothing about himself, his aspiration, all this stuff. And it did feel like that question that Kakashi was asked all those years ago, it might just be my headcanon, feels like he finally was answering to his father, telling him everything about him. His hobby, what he likes to do, like he was literally telling him everything about him. It kind of made me think of that first question that Kakashi asked, and he only talked about being a Hokage and loving ramen.
Right, and this was the first time he actually got to have like a genuine interaction with like his parent. Yeah. Like not like parent figures or like people that were there to like support him, like
physically
and like stuff like that.
Spiritual.
Like, he actually got to like physically talk to his parent, and even just like having, and like just like I said, as he was going through it, like the stuff he was telling him to tell his mom, like tell her I'm eating my meals, and I'm doing like I'm being a good kid, and like I'm doing that. It's like he's like he's like, don't say, like he wasn't mentioning, oh, I'm gonna become Hokage, like all this stuff like that. It was just like stuff like normal kids wanted like their parents to be proud of them for, and it was just like I said, it was a very touching moment. Unfortunately, it can't carry the rest of the garbage in this arc.
Yeah. So I don't know if for Ragnar or 3-Day, or Fritz, who wants to sing first?
I'm letting the pros finish this one off.
Yeah. So listen, before we let our favorite opera singer start singing, 3-Day, do you have some ideas, or
3 days
we can let you? Yeah, she's in the chat. Okay, yeah, she's handling the chat. Okay, so then Ragnar, hit us off with your beautiful voice.
Probably one of my favorite speakers on this subject right now is Ragnar.
Kaguya is trash. This part is trash. Kakashi's power up is trash. Obito after this is trash. Naruto's power up is trash. To say the 6 pass flashback is trash. I don't know why this entire scene happened. This shouldn't have happened. It should have ended with Madara. I give this a D rank.
It's a pile of flaming garbage, he says.
However, I'm gonna say this. I know it's no more, it's before, but I'm gonna talk about this, and I think Ragnar has already heard me about this rant, but Pito loved it. I think for me, one of the worst thing they ever done is that whole. Do you remember how every time they talk about taking an eye, right? Someone's eye, like a Sharingan, stuff like that. They made it like it has to be a procedure. You cannot just take an eye like that. Like there's a way of doing it. And when Madara took the eye of Obito to revive himself, I hate them how he just literally, whoop, took it like it was a marble. He took it like it was a
Hashirama
marble.
cells. That's the reason.
What? This
The- the-
Hashirama said.
Re-
Wait,
so
you're
he's
cutting out, bro.
automatically heals. Oh,
No,
I
no,
was
no,
saying the reason he's allowed to take the eyes like that and heal automatically is because of his Hashirama cells.
Like it was more the hand movement, how he removed it from the face.
Just pluck.
You know, yeah, he just plucked it like it's a piece of hair. That's the thing that bothers me. It's not like he's able to do it. It's the fact that he just took it out. Like he was mid movement, he was running around, and he took it while running.
Upside down.
That's the thing that
right?
that was weird.
Or isn't there more
Sorry?
to that scene? Like the way he does it, like
For me, when I saw it, I don't know. When I saw it, I just went. Pfft. Honestly, I went, yeah. I don't know for Peter Ragnar if it's just my head canon. That's how I felt it was.
straight steals it.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, listen, we can rank this. So we said B for the
I
before
mean,
last one. So-
hey, look,
Oh,
I
yeah,
got
oh, yeah.
nothing against putting it in D tier because, like I said, that I just have that one moment.
D.
Just
D,
be-
oh yeah, D.
There's
yeah,
nothing good about this series except for one part where they kind of do a few
Yeah.
good things.
There
That
was
the
one S
entire thing
moment.
was
Hey,
garbage.
hey,
Nobody.
hey.
There is nobody wanted her in this story. I'm sorry for peeking. Nobody wanted Kaguya in this story. Nobody likes this arc. It's a D rank.
Hey, I'm
Yeah.
just that Naruto Minato moment, maybe a C, you know?
D as in dog or B as in boy?
Oh, I think D is probably more accurate than B.
Dog.
Yeah.
Dog.
Let's dog on it. Dog on it.
My heart is telling me a C though, you know?
Your
So
heart is
for the
lying
last,
to you.
Nah, you
Yeah.
go watch that. Nah, bro, go watch that clip again. If you're not crying, then you might just be a cold, heartless monster.
I might just be. You might be right, but for the wrong reasons.
yeah.
Nah, bro, yo.
So for the last one, I know it's not a part of it because it's more of a filler, but I like to add not only the team recollection, but basically the whole thing that leads to after the war, up until episode 500 with Naruto becoming Hokage, plus no, not Hokage, but getting married and everything. I think we should basically the end of Naruto. If anybody's in disagreement, you could say, but I think it's just weird to stop it where it stopped in the manga. Like the anime part was also very relevant, So for me, honestly, I liked it. I won't lie. It's if you remove the Kaguya aspect of it, it's something else completely. Naruto versus Sasuke, the whole thing, how it went down. Kakashi, the criminal, becoming Sixth Hokage, and basically accepting another criminal's for being innocent. Sasuke. Yeah, as you know, I believe that Kakashi and Sasuke are the true villains of the story, but nobody believes me. So yeah, that's my point. So, shall we let the good cop Pete start and then
Yeah.
the bad cop Ragnar?
I want good.
Oh, you
cop.
talking about?
Good
Oh, you
cop.
talking about Naruto versus Sasuke? Oh, you might be surprised because again, I hate that this fight even happened. Yeah, it was so dumb. It was so dumb to me. After they're done with all this Kaguya stuff, you still need to fight Sasuke. Like, get over it.
It's a-
I think that sounds like a wannabe Vegeta Goku situation where they're always constantly wanting to fight. Like that's
Right. It
that's
just
a total rip right
No.
there.
to
They
me.
No, it's
never
worse,
ever
it's
did
worse,
that.
it's worse.
Wait. To me, it just felt forced. Like, look, man, we don't have the emotional goodbyes, the deaths. We beat the big bad. Everybody's beat up and bruised, and and ready to go. And so now we both got to go lose a limb for what? For what? For you to not, and that's for you to not come back to the village and be the most edgy of edgelords. Like after all this, for you to lose the fight again, and be no, he won the first time, but to lose the fight and like, oh no, I'm not coming back to the village. After all this stuff that we went through, Naruto's been trying to get you to come back to the village for the whole series, and now you not coming back, even though you lost the fight. You won't even let him grow your arm back for some strange principle, even though they can somehow grow your arm back because they got the first Hokage's cells or whatever. And we not even doing that. It just felt forced and unnecessary. I get they were trying to wrap up the series, similar to how, they had their clash at the beginning, but I didn't need it. It's a D. Since we don't have an F tier, I just find it unnecessary.
Hey man, listen. Like I said,
If y'all want to know what I think, I'm pretty much on the same understanding of Pete. I don't think it's a D or an F, but I do not like it at all. For me, I don't think anything gets as bad as Homecoming and the Kaguya thing. So I'd have to put it at C because of that.
I mean, I'm gonna say this because I think guys gave the worst, almost a good example, but not the same thing. It's literally if after the Booth saga, Goku and Vegeta says, you know what? Let's not go first to go to Earth. Mr. Satan, you have to wait here with Majin Buu. We're gonna have our fight now. That's basically that, actually. So yeah, I agree. That's why I wanted to add the end of Naruto with the filler aspect, because I did I won't lie, the filler ones with the wedding and everything, him asking Iruka to be the father at his wedding. I'm sorry, and even though it's a filler, I think that was one of my favorite ending for Naruto.
No, if it was canon, it would have been amazing. But the truth is,
it would have been amazing. That scene is so wholesome.
They added all that stuff at the end. If they added all that stuff at the end to make people think, oh, you're not watching the series for nothing. There's still something to watch that's worth your time.
Right.
But I would put that in the same canon as the movies. If you're gonna tell me, oh yeah, I'm in this last arc, I'm gonna count the movie The Last in it, right? If you added like The Last, I'll be like, yo, the movie The Last is pretty fire. What happens in that movie is pretty fire. That would have made this right up to beat. You see, the problem is, right? A lot of stuff that happens here, Sasuke is, oh, I'm gonna be Hokage. The putting all the tail beasts in genjutsu control. I don't know what the hell he was doing. But the point is, there was a lot of things that were happening at the end that was just completely pointless. Like, why? Why is this happening? Yeah.
Yeah, man, I won't. Again, I'm gonna say this.
Just to be clear, this is not us hating on the fight. I love the fight, but it was pointless.
Dude, I'm gonna say this. I'm sorry because I did like the character like Ragnar. I did feel like, compared to most people, I did appreciate the character of Sakura. I had my flaws with it, but overall I liked it. I'm gonna say this: girl should have never accepted to get with Sasuke after all. I'm sorry, dude. If it was anything like reality, like logical, like they would have given up on him a while ago, or at least he goes to his own village, with his own thing.
Right.
And
You'd be surprised the things women will do for love, bro.
No, not even no, dude. I'm gonna say this: Naruto and Sakura are both as bad when it came to Sasuke. Don't forget, Naruto literally begging the Raikage after he heard what he did. And yes, it's a humbling moment, stuff like that. But I did think at the moment, dude, it's not like it's a friend who tried to defend someone and hit Killer Bee, so the Raikage wants to kill him. The dude kept ickling every time. They went after him, I think, 2 or 3 times. If you think about this with Naruto in the Sound Village, the Sound 4, when they took him. If you think it, there was 2 or 3 times where they got him. And then after all of that, you have to go and beg the Raikage to let him be. And not only that, the Raikage does not say no. But the worst part about it is that Sasuke then shows up in front of him to have a fight with the Raikage. I'm sorry, That's why I had my big issue with Naruto Sakura when it comes to Sasuke. Sometimes it wasn't logical. That's how I saw it. But yeah.
Yeah, you know, like as much as I love Naruto, that way of ending it was just generally lackluster for me. Like I said, the fight itself felt forced. Like it legitimately blew my mind. Cause like I said, I'm coming off of crying because Naruto saying bye to his dad and trying to like leave a message for his mom. To here comes, hot topic model of the week talking about let's fight.
Got him.
It's like we can't do this tomorrow. Like what? Wait, what? Really? Right now? We just fought the space alien god of chakra, and we can't fight tomorrow. We can't settle our thing tomorrow. Like what? What?
Yeah, like you got to be Hokage today. You want to be Hokage
right?
today.
And since when do you want to be Hokage? The nerve!
Come on, man. Like, how does that make sense, man? How does that make sense, bro? Get out of here.
Sasuke is the worst friend ever.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I do not deny that whatsoever.
Dude,
Naruto is the worst representation of what the Leaf Village stands for.
Right.
Dude, I would say that I think as in the samurai and maybe I don't know. Is there a village that's well first let's rank this thing so we can it's rank at
D please.
Yeah, D.
Yeah, please D. If you guys if you guys disagree, it's fine. Fritz,
No, actually,
I don't know.
No, for me it's quite logical.
Oh, I'm gonna follow you guys on this. I entrust the masters here.
Yeah.
But anyways, I like this. I might have some ideas, keeping all the tier list because most likely we're gonna be doing other live stream where we can have people fight it off. If they give our tier list in the future, stuff like that. So I think it's a good tier list. Sounds quite logical in my eyes, at least.
Yeah, I think it's good. Like I said, there's one that I think is in the
Why?
wrong spot. I think I've lost that. So.
Don't even.
I know you want Tsunade and B, bro. Listen to me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Say
go
it ain't
look
happening.
where it really belongs for you, real quick. Right there. That's where it goes.
The audacity. I'm gonna be honest. Having Homecoming at D, the Tsunade search arc at C is just really a Jiraiya underappreciation, and I'm not a fan.
He got his.
Yeah.
He got his.
See.
So for all those who are in the chat, how do you like our tier list?
Are we completely crazy or what?
Yeah, and I love Denden's last message. Sasuke is a dick.
Is that what he said? Oh yeah, he did say that. You're right.
Yeah, no, literally, he did say that.
Yeah. 3 days says she's agreed. D as well. There it is. Bro,
Yeah,
listen
dude,
to
I'm
me.
sorry.
We all agree. The ending of Naruto was just a letdown, bro. The same way the ending of Yu Yu Hakusho was a letdown. The same way the ending of Hunter x Hunter was technically a letdown. These series just do not know how to end. I do not know why.
And to be fair, they were kind of the blueprints for some of those longer running ones going to the wrap it up.
No. Did Dragon Ball end lackluster? Did you feel lackluster when Dragon Ball ended? I didn't. It ended quite well. Dragon Ball Z ended quite well too.
That's why I said kinda, because besides Dragon Ball, there's not really a whole bunch of examples. So if you don't get it right, and you're the second guy, it's all right.
Actually, he's right. If you think about it, there are so many mangas who are goated, but the anime kind of dropped the ball. And I'm going to give the best example to that. It is one of the shortest manga, but it's so beloved. But if I tell you the anime, when I said the anime really screwed up the last 10 episodes, have you guys ever heard of Death Note?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Death Note is a perfect case. And they only had... Yeah, no, don't worry.
Tokyo Ghoul only made one good season.
Yeah, no, we're not going to spoil.
Oh my god.
We're not going to spoil, just so you know, like... It's like the Shaman King thing. They just changed some stuff at the ending that I really did not like.
Right.
And the manga was so goated. Death Note as a manga was so goated. And then the anime was so great. And then you had those last episodes that changed everything. Like, just weird. For me, it felt like they changed like the whole team for the last episode. It's like it was so weird. Everything just became weird, you know. Or
Oh,
they got
yeah, Promise
Alzheimer or something. Yeah, yeah,
Promise Never did fumble that second season. That was crazy.
yeah, man. And then of course, there's nothing worse as an anime as Fairy Tail deciding to change his whole thing into fan service for like 100 episodes or something like that. But
That
yeah,
was my
so
favorite
yeah, it's
part
true.
of it.
It's true if you think about it. There isn't. Well, honestly, I'm gonna say this: one of the franchise I love, but you stop after the first generation was Yu-Gi-Oh. But you stop at the first generation with Yugi Muto. I think it was a full story, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but honestly, first of all, you know, I want to appreciate everyone who was able to show up for the tier list. You know, as usual, we like to do the unexpected and tell you guys 10 minutes before, but we're happy you guys were able to pull up, you know. A big thank, obviously, to Fritz for his work, 3-day, Den, who was here briefly, and obviously also for our two special guests, Ragnar and Pete. Thank you for your energy.
Of course.
And, you know,
Definitely want to thank Ragnar and Pete. You guys are definitely was a great welcome into this discussion. You guys had a lot of great insight. Put me to shame here. I'm not one of these. I'm not the biggest Naruto fans here, but I mean, like, that's not. I'm not saying that I'm not against it. I'm just not the most dedicated, is what I'm trying to say. And you guys really have a lot of insight on there that kind of like brings me more into the light that I've underdogged this one for years.
Hey,
yeah,
it's
there's a
all good, man. Thanks for having us on.
yeah. And I'm gonna say this, Pete. Honestly, we want to thank for the energy that you had in the chat that got you for me and Deden said listen. And then I had to leave. We said, you know what? Let's pull up Pete. So we want to thank your energy also in the chat because that's like a big portion. We felt the energies with your keyboard, especially that Tsunade arc. Going to find Tsunade, we felt it.
It's underappreciated, but it's okay, you know.
And we appreciate it. No, honestly, like this, and you know, yeah. Again, thank you for everyone, you know, in the chat, for those who are still here, and for those who just came by quickly, you know, appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. I gotta head out.
And
Y'all have a good one.
yeah, no worries, bro. Thank you, and yeah, have a good one, bro. I think with this,
All right.
we could. Yep. Fritz, I think with this we could end it. But
Thank you for everyone in the chat. This was
yeah.
this is another wonderful TLA production, and we will see you next time.